happy Sunday, peeps. Oh my goodness, so happy to hang out with you guys today. Hello, hello. I hope you're having a wonderful day and getting geared up for an amazing week. So, if you guys don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can learn a little bit more about me by checking out the links down below. Maybe my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com. You can check out my Patreon page, get to know some of my Patreon homies, and check out maybe some of the goodies that I have offered over there. And maybe check out the YouTube members or Desert Cauldron. Lots of stuff for you guys to check out down below. But I want to wish everybody happy Sunday. So today we are going to dive into our weekly reading. So see what energies we have cooked up for this week, and see maybe anything to meditate on, anything to heal, just anything in general, really. And then we have a nature hike to go on today. So this one was a close one. I have a poll that I put out usually every Thursday or Friday, for not only the public on my YouTube channel page, but I also have it on my Patreon page and for my YouTube members. So technically, if you're a patron or a YouTube member, you get like extra votes. So if there's something that you're really aching to see during the Sunday live chat, then those extra votes really do help. And they did come in handy this week because it was really close. It was almost a tie between wanting a fairy tea party and going on a magical nature hike, which we're going to go around on the property. So it was the votes from Patreon and from my YouTube members that actually pushed it towards going on a nature hike today. So that's what we're doing. So we'll do our weekly reading first, and then it's off to nature hike time. So for the time being, I'm out on the porch with my little zucchini plant that is getting hardened off right now. So today's like day 3 of hardening off. I'm keeping her in here, him or her, I don't really know, with this plant, within our like little mosquito mesh netting, just to kind of keep the bugs off of it right now until it's strong enough, and also to keep Miss Squirrel away because, well, Sammy, the cottontail, Miss Squirrel, they're beings of opportunity, as we all are. So just making sure the plant stays, at least gets a tough start in life before becomes fodder for the forest. But anyway, how are you guys doing? Let's see who all is here. Hey, Lisa is here. Hello, hello. Susie. Hey, got my mighty moderators in the house. John is here. Hello, Lily. Hey, hey, Janine. Nancy, what is up? Oh, well, thank you, Susie. She says I'm looking nice today. You know, I'm actually wearing a top that I haven't worn in quite some time. It was one that I got a long time ago when I was in college, actually. But, you know, I still love it. Elise is here. Hello. Susie says, yes, I have some gophers and squirrels too. Oh, well, by the way, after our, we'll do it after our weekly reading, but I have some stories for you. Some things, we have some good stories that have happened on this hill in the past week, and I really want to share them with you guys. I want to do the weekly reading first, but it does involve Miss Squirrel, a couple of those things. So yeah, I think you guys are gonna like it. And hopefully on the nature walk, maybe we can run into Sammy the cottontail, maybe Miss Squirrel, maybe some of our lizard friends, maybe the naughty chipmunks. But yeah, and maybe some of the blue jays and the ravens that have been flying around. Everybody's saying hello, hello. I love all the love that you guys fill into this live chat. Oh yeah, so let me show you this little top I got. Was back in the day. It's got this beautiful koi and flower like rose embroidery on it, and yeah, it was back in college, probably like, I don't know, I think it was my second year of college, and I went to Long Beach State, and so my roommate and some of my friends were like, you know, let's go see how the other half lives. So we wanted to go out to Rodeo Drive and go out to Melrose, which, you know, oh hey, Miss Squirrel, what's up? Are you gonna hang around today? Everybody wants to say hello. I'm gonna tell your story. But anyway, so we went out to Melrose, and I had, I think, $15, but like that was my whole life. That's all I had was $15 to my name. And I was like, I really wanted to like get something to like remind me of this like bougie experience out on Melrose. Now I could care less if I was out on Melrose, but you know, when you're young and you just like, oh wow, you know, just blinded by the glitz and glamour. And so each of my friends, because we were just broke as a joke, we all ended up getting like a little something, and so this is what I got. And so hey, you know what? Great for $15. It's lasted good quality, you know, over 20 years. Oh my goodness. So yeah, okay, so like I said, we are going to get into that weekly reading. Let me know what decks you guys are working with, or maybe you're not working with decks at all. Maybe you've got some runes, pendulums. Maybe you're working on that good old fashioned intuition. You want to channel those messages, in which case I'm all for it. So yeah, let me know how you are pulling down the messages today. Definitely share them in the chat. Anybody who rewatches, you know, watches the replay of this live chat, definitely read what's going on in the comments, because there's some beautiful wisdom. There's some amazing people here. And yeah, they got a lot of wonderful things to say. Okay, so let's see. Lisa said it's 72 degrees here. Ooh, that seems nice. Yesterday it was 78, and everybody else in all these different states are like, we're dying, it's 100 and something. I'm like, we're in the mountains, it's 78. um, Susie said gorgeous. Lisa loves the top. Thank you. Susie said it was 86 and it's going to climb up to 98. Woof. I don't think it's supposed to go above the 80s here over the next like week and a half. So I guess we're pretty lucky. Everybody else is on fire. Peg said, hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Oh boy, an adventure hike. Woo woo. Hey, hey. So glad that you are going to be able to join us. John says, I feel like experiences are more important than things to collect. Exactly. Exactly. And that's something, well, you know, I learned as I got older, and as I, you know, got further along in this spiritual journey of ours. I realized that, you know, you could have all the things, but really it's the energy. You could tap into the energy, you can tap into the memory, you can go back to that moment, and it's still happening because time doesn't exist. So, you know, you may have a photograph, you may have a cool shirt from your time there, but you can tap into anytime you wish, really, and relive it if you wanted to. So, maze balls. Lisa says, Saints and Mystics cards today. Oh, I have that deck. That is a beautiful deck. Excellent. Well, while you guys are grabbing your decks, or you know, settling yourselves for some channeled messages, I want to thank all of my subscribers, everybody who has subscribed to the channel, my live chat crew, you guys, everybody who comes in and hangs out with us on Sundays, new people, veterans, you know, all my KWT tribe. I want to thank my my KWT tribe members here on YouTube. So Liesel and Kayla and Nancy, love you guys. And also to my Patreon homies. So Myrna and Lily, Dana, Karen, Palu, Liesel, Heather, Jamie, Kayla, Surian, Brandy, Jason, and Brian. Love you guys so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also my mighty, mighty moderators. You guys know who you are, and you guys know who they are, because they wield the wrench of destiny. You know? So, all right, I have quite a few decks here. Obviously, I'm not going to use them all, but I will. I'll show you what I got here. So, you guys, maybe you don't know, but I am friends with V over at V Love and Crystals, and she creates some amazing decks. And this one is Feelings in Bloom. So I have this deck. Perhaps we'll use it today. I have my Kitsch Lenormand, which I got on Etsy. I have my Let's Go affirmation cards. These have been, I don't know, my intuition's just really been connecting with that deck since the solstice, which, by the way, after the weekly reading, you guys have to tell me all about your solstice, all about the full moon. What did you guys do? Did you even celebrate the solstice? Did you sleep right through it? Maybe you did something a little special. Maybe those of you that celebrated Litha, let me know what you guys did. Um, but of course, I also have my Wally's World Oracle here, as always. Gotta have my little Wally. I have the Journey Oracle, which I thought was an interesting one. I saw that on Amazon, actually. And here's a deck I had for a while. It's Notes from the Universe on Abundance. Just really been feeling it. I have the Catchy Oracle. Like I said, I have a ton of decks here. I'm not going to use them all. It's just I get into a mood and it's like I start pulling decks from my shelf and I keep them on this little tray in the house. So so I don't have to keep going back and forth between the cabin where everything is and the house, which is kind of small. So I just kind of bring everything over. What is happening back there? You crazy birdies. I can't wait to share their stories. You guys are going to love it. I have the Jupiter Power Tarot. And of course, the deck that James got me for my birthday, the Thelema Tarot. Alrighty, so let's see here. Nancy says, I agree, John. Memories are forever. Forevermore. John says, I appreciate that things can still remind you of the thing, and that's nice too. Yeah, sometimes it's an event that jogs our memories, but sometimes it is pulling the shirt out of the closet and you're like, oh yeah, but then you can tap into the energy and go right back to Melrose. Back when oh gosh, I never watched the show, but some of my friends did. They used to watch Melrose Place. And so so my friends and I would always joke, my college friends were like, we went to Melrose Place back in the day. Silver Star is here. Hello, hello. She's giving a shout out to everybody with all her beautiful emojis. I love it. And she said it is 10:10 here. Beautiful new beginnings. Excellent. Everybody welcoming her in. Lisa said the wrench of destiny. Heck yeah. Elise said, ooh, I love that deck by V Love. Yeah, I think she still has it in her Etsy shop. I think the Etsy shop's name is still V Love. It's V Love Crystals, but she has another one, V Love Tarot. So check either one. It's just like me on Etsy. I mean, I have my website, and that's where everybody usually gets anything from me, but I still have my old Etsy shop. And Kittens, Weights, and Tarot was too long, so it's just Kittens, Weights, Tarot. So same for V Love and Crystals. Like we couldn't fit the and in, so it's just V Love Crystals. um, Everybody's saying hello, skis. Heather says, I'm trying not to look at decks. There's been a few lately that I've been tempting. Yeah, I try not looking anymore because I'm like, number one, I don't got the De Niro for it, but also I'm like, I have a lot of decks and I'm grateful for what I have already. And, so I'm like, I'm just gonna keep working with it. Nancy says, Susie gifted me Wally's World, so I'm using that today. Yay! Oh my goodness, that is what a beautiful gift. Silver Star says, let me run and grab a deck really quick. All righty. All righty. So cool. So cool. Okay. So let's get into that weekly reading. And speaking of Wally's World, I love to utilize this deck for the theme. What is the theme for this week? So let's see what Wally has to say. And then we'll figure out what other deck, we want to use to kind of, I guess, get clarification, on that. But I do encourage everybody who is watching to definitely let us know what messages you're getting, what downloads you're getting, because I feel it just creates such a more well-rounded, more rich type reading for the upcoming week. Instead of just one person's higher self perspective, what if we get the perspective of all these different beautiful higher selves in here? I think that then we get these different points of view, and I like it. I dig it. Lisa says she has a new deck coming tomorrow. Ooh, nice. Oh, Susie still has her copy though. Okay, excellent. Wally's World. And Heather says, crap, I have to lurk. Gotta grab my car. No worries. I love my lurkers too. Yeah, and Susie's asking which deck is showing up. We'd love to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Okay, so Susie has the Goddess Divine deck. Ooh. Alrighty. My goodness, the energy just, it was an amazing solstice and full moon in Capricorn. Still feeling the vibes of that portal. I have some amazing stories, and I feel like I'm going to overuse the word amazing. So I don't know, fantastical, incredible, and miraculous, marvelous, fantabulous, stories to share with you guys. So, okay. Wally, let us know, what is the energy of this upcoming week? And then we'll get a little clarification later on. Okay. All righty. Let's see. John says, I've been tapping in more lately. Excellent. I love it. I love it. Lisa says, talking to heaven, Mikey read them for me and I love them. Beautiful. And I love when you guys do readings for each other. It's just, I love it. It's such a sense of community. All righty. Oh, and then Susie was saying, oh, that was Heather. Oh, okay. And Susie says, one finger typing, so not making sense today. No worries. I often do like dictation, the talk to text or speech to text or whatever. And number one, the speech to text, I don't know what planet it thinks I'm saying things. And then autocorrect, it's like, I'm trying to say, let's say I'm trying to say couch. You meant to say autobus. I'm like, number one, I was speaking English, and number two, what? Oh my goodness. So yeah, lately, I mean, because I do sometimes, text in Spanish and in English, but still, you know. Elise says, sounds wonderful. It's all fiction with Lord of the Rings, my Naruto cards, and mermaids. You know what? I say, sure, we could say things are fiction, but it's all a dream. It's all real in some reality, and we can make that our reality. So, Janine says, I've got Medicine Woman Wisdom deck. Ooh, I've looked at that one. That seems like an amazing deck as well. And Susie says, I call Heather the divine, a goddess divine. Ah, I see. Well, Heather is the goddess divine. Silverstar says, I'll be right back. It's around the corner, but I did grab a few decks, the Rose Oracle by Rebecca Campbell and Spellcasting Oracle. So I'll be back. I actually have today off. So I'm here for, hey, yay. I'm so excited. And I'm so honored that you would come and spend it with this glorious group. Silverstar says, blushing Susie. Love you, gorgeous. And Lisa says, closed captions can't translate my accent on YouTube. I mean, what accent can translate? It can't translate American accent. It can't translate British accent. It can't translate a Spanish accent or Mexican accent. Like what is it translating? Is it just like AI to AI? Like what? Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, I did pull our card for the theme for this week. And this was the card I got. It's card number 31 in my deck, which comes out to the number 4, which is my lucky number. Well, maybe not lucky. It's just the number that I've always felt a connection with. And coincidentally, many Native American tribes, the number 4 is a very important number for tribes all across the world, and not just Native American, but Native tribes all over the world. To the Maya, the number 4 was extremely important. It represented the 4 seasons, the 4 times of day, the 4 times of night, the 4 stages of growth, the 4 pillars that hold up the earth, the 4 colors of corn, which were to represent the people. Um, yeah, so number 4 is like the number of stability. It's also representative of four-legged animals, most importantly, the deer, which they connected with, but all four-legged creatures to be very grounded and stable. So, taking that into consideration, now we look at the image, and the image here is one that I actually took while I was out in Ocean Beach, California. OB keep OB weird, as they say. I am from San Diego, and I used to love going down to OB. And one of my favorite places to go eat was at Hodad's. Hodad's has it's like a real like kind of hippie kind of joint, and they have a VW bus in there, and you can eat inside the bus. They have all these it's just cool. They have, uh, like, no windows really, it's all open air, so, like, people are walking by on the streets can kinda lean in and see what's happening, it's a poppin' little joint, but as you can see, there's a line out the door, and oh my gosh, that triggers my memory of my dream last night. Um, what was okay, so I was walking with James and there was somebody else we were walking with, and there was a line of people, and it was that everybody was waiting to get something free. Like there was some free handout in this store, but everybody was dressed all like rock and roll and punk, and everybody had records in their hands. So I don't know if it was like a signing or like they were getting a free record. And I'm not even sure I haven't really, like, meditated on what my dream was about yet, so I don't know, maybe you guys can can tap into it, but, yeah, it was something about line of people, and so it's interesting that the theme card that I'm pulling for this upcoming week is all about a line of people waiting to get into a place that they really want. People here, they really want the food there. In my dream, they were really wanting whatever that free thing was, and they were willing to wait for days, hours, to get into this place. So I think this is going to take a little bit of a deeper tap in. So yeah, let me do that. Oh, Susie says it's the one of her favorite cards in the deck. Well, that's cool. I must say it's one of mine. Actually, one of my favorite pictures I think I've ever took like a public picture. Lisa says Leonardo da Vinci inspiration. And Lisa says, I just drew number 4 from this deck. Saint Expedite, immediacy. Very interesting, Susie. Yeah. See, I love how we're all like simpatico. We're all vibing together in this group. I think that's awesome. And John said, I had a significant dream also, but I can't wait. Where I can wait. Okay. Well, yeah. I definitely want to dive into those. Okay, so let's go into this card. Okay. Actually, the message was in what John just said. He was saying he had a really interesting dream, but he said, "I can wait." That's actually the message here, and it was also the message in my dream that this upcoming week for a lot of people, it may show up for each of us in a different way. I don't think necessarily we're going to be waiting outside the record store because I mean, does Tower Records still exist or Sam Goody? But I feel like this is a week of where we're in a moment of stillness before something big comes in for each of us. What that bigness is and what that surprise is. And it's not necessarily maybe not a surprise, maybe that's not the right words to use. It's more we kind of already know what's coming, but we're excited about it, we're anticipating it, but our higher selves are asking us to be patient, that trust me, it's gonna be worth the wait. And like I said, what that thing that you're waiting for is going to be different because we're all different people and it would be very difficult to put a generalization on all of you guys. So we are all on different soul missions. We all have different experiences, but I feel like the common thread for each of us is that we're all waiting for something, and it's something huge. It's something not like I'm waiting for a new deck in the mail, which, hey, I'm all for waiting for new decks in the mail and surprises like that. But this is bigger. This is a soul growth thing. So it's, dare I say, life changing, kind of. I don't think you're going to change your whole life around, but it definitely is going to change your perspective on your purpose here and how you feel in this world and where you feel your place is and how you can help the most and how you can help yourself. And I feel like that big thing is showing us in, like in a variety of ways, but we're all just waiting this week. And so if you're feeling frustrated, like, oh, like, why won't it just happen already? Like, why won't it? It's saying, patience, patience. There are other things that need to happen first. Everything is falling into place, just like we're falling into line. We're standing there with our records, waiting for, I don't know, Billy Idol to come like sign our record, or I'm waiting for this delicious burger, or for me it was the chocolate milkshake because it was freaking this big, and they put a wedge of ice cream on the side of it, which is freaking awesome. But it's going to be delicious, metaphorically speaking. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to be grand, and you're going to feel it in your heart space. It's going to feel like a boom. So be patient. Be patient. Whatever you've been waiting for, it's coming. Just please be patient this week. I know the ego gets a little antsy, but tell your ego to take a chill pill. So, all right. I'm excited about that. I'm excited. I kind of already know what that is for me. And I have a sense of excitement and a little bit of nervousness, but I'm excited more than I am nervous. So um, when it happens, after it happens, whatever, then I'll talk to you guys about it. But for now, I will sit in that stillness, just like the message is for you guys to sit in that stillness. Just feel into it, enjoy this present moment. The future will come when it comes, and eventually it will be our present, our gift. But right now, we got to be right here. And it's about enjoying that present moment and all of the experiences and opportunities that lead to that thing that we've been waiting for. So if we miss the present moment, then we may inadvertently push that thing that we've been waiting for out further. So that's why it seems very important that we got to be grounded and we got to be present. So, okay, so let's see what you guys got. Let me just go back here. Janine said, Susie, stay with uncertainty. You're in a creative process of change and transformation. Something new is waiting to be born. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Beautiful. And Ruchi is here. Hey. She says, Namaskaram, Tara, ma'am. Hello, hello. Beautiful, beautiful. How are you? Susie said, thank you, Janine. Yes, that also resonates. And she's welcoming in Ruchi. Lisa's like, Sam Goody. Whoa. What year is this? Ruchi said, thank you, Susie. Hope you are doing well. And Nancy says, I drew such a perfect card for our nature walk, number 33. I love the beauty and wisdom of trees, embracing the goodness of the future and finding balance and harmony. That's a beautiful, beautiful message. And Lisa says, number 13 equals 4. Again, St. Mary MacKillop life lessons. Beautiful. I'm loving these messages. Elise says, I got playful, Queen of Spades and the moon. Yuck. Well, Queen of Spades and the moon. I love that beautiful balance between thought and intuition. Beautiful. Susie says 33 is coming up a lot for her. Wow. And Nancy said the card on the bottom of the deck, number 31. Dude, the 3s and the 4s, excuse me. Wow. And Susie says 31, my birthday number for Nancy. Ah. And Lily's like, ooh. Silver Star says, okay, she is back. She says, Tara, that is the exact same message my guides have been telling me. It's so cool that we are receiving the same message. That's what I said. Like, dude, all of you guys, whether it's the first time you've been in this live chat, or you've been in this live chat for a while, I feel like it's just simpatico. That's all I can say. Like the synchronicities and the resonance is just off his charts, you know, the chart sizzles, you know. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's get some other messages. I'm actually going to use a couple of decks. I feel like people need to hear this. So first, I'm going to pull notes from the universe on abundance. And I'll just read the message on here because I want to use this other deck for clarification. But I think these have good messages too. So I won't go into this one too intuitively, but we'll see. I kind of want, my higher self is like, let them interpret this card. So, okie dokie. Your higher selves want to interpret it. Okay. And I love, oh, dude, that's the same card I got yesterday. Interesting. All right. I love the beautiful messages that are on each of these cards, but here we have like this beautiful rock formation, and it looks like the ocean in the background, which is pretty neat. I say it kind of looks a little bit like Utah, but it has the ocean. But yeah, gorgeous. Anyway, so let's read the back of the card here. It says, actually, it's not that you want stuff that you don't have, but that you want stuff that you think you don't have. And the best way to change this is to begin thinking that you have it. As in, oh, there's my electric fully loaded Halbatron cloud zapper. Rain, please, the universe. So I'll let you guys sit with that message. Like I said, my intuition was like, let them interpret it. So that way everybody has their own unique interpretation of this card. Okay, but the feelings in bloom, I want to use this deck. So let's take a look ski. Susie says, gorgeous box. Love the colors. Indeed. And Nancy says, love that, Susie. I hope your wrist is feeling better. You are on my mind almost constantly. Yes, definitely. I feel like there are quite a few people, our girl, Susie as well, who have sustained some injuries over the past couple of weeks. So definitely, if you can spare it, send some healing energy out to our girl and to all of you guys that are needing a little bit extra love and healing. So some people have felt some injury physically. Some people have felt it emotionally or spiritually. I think a lot of people are going through it. The animals, they're not immune to it either. Neither are the trees. Miss Squirrel got injured, but she's fine. You know, I said she ran by earlier. Lady, the horse that I talked to, she's a quarter horse. Not like she's quarter of a horse, but her identification, she's a quarter horse. She got injured. She says she did it to herself. She ran into a wall. I was like, no need to be ashamed. I've run into plenty of walls. I'll probably run into a wall today. But yeah, a lot of people are feeling injury in one way or another. So yeah, like I said, if you could spare it, please send some good juju, some healing love to all of our friends. Susie's saying thank you to Nancy. Silver Star says 33, 444, 1010, 222, 555 have been frequent flyers over here. Dude, yeah, for me it's 555, 911, 444 lately, and 111 and 1111. So interesting. Susie says 555 is my fave. Lisa says I like the interpretation. And Silverstar adores V from V Love and Crystals. Susie says, love the fur babies and feathered babies. Shout out to Frankie. Frankie, if you guys don't know, is our girl Kayla's parakeet. Frankie, she is such a cutie, and I follow Frankie's account on Instagram. Elise says, that sounds right. My cards appear to suck, but it depends on perspective. Yeah, and that's why I say, you know, in these live chats, I want everybody to offer their intuition and their guidance, because from me, you're only getting one perspective. But when all of you are chiming in, you get all these multiple perspectives. And that way it's easier for us to see things that was harder for us to see ourselves. So, like when you guys are saying messages for the week or even commenting on the cards I pull, it's stuff that I couldn't see, but you guys can because I'm in my own vessel, and you guys have such beautiful perspectives and your own beautiful intuition. So that's why I love this group. All right, so let's pull some cards from this gorgeous deck. Alrighty, what else do we need to know about this upcoming week other than be in the present, patience, that big thing, that kind of life-changing thing we've been waiting for is coming. We just got to be patient. And then we had that card from Notes from the Universe on abundance, all about thinking that we already have what we want, because sometimes we think we don't have what we want already. Let's see here. I want to pull two cards actually. I'm feeling it. Okay, so the first card says confident. I am unshakable. And well, it's kind of hard to see which bridge that is in the background, but maybe you guys know. The second card says pressured. I remove all emotional blocks. And I think they go fabulously together. But let's dive in. Okay, so while we're quote unquote waiting in line this week, waiting for our turn for that thing to show up, but of course, all the experiences have to happen and get in alignment first before that thing shows up, which is why we're patiently waiting. Understand that our ego is the least patient of all things in this matrix. I mean, it's kind of designed that way to be impatient, to have the FOMO, the fear of missing out. I got to have it now, I got to, things need to happen now. And somehow, if it's not happening to me now, I'm going to miss out on it. I won't have as much joy as other people are experiencing in this moment. And we get excited as human beings. We see other human beings enjoy something. We want to enjoy it too. But what we need to keep in mind is that when it's our time, when we're in that mode of experiencing joy, there are other people at that moment looking at you, being like, man, I wish I was where he or she is, and I want to experience that joy too. And so we put out that love and compassion. We say, your time will come as well. Just like I had to wait, you're going to wait. It's going to be beautiful for you. But to try and force something to come faster, we got to remind ourselves that that's our ego. Our ego may say, well, I need to have this thing happening right now. And if we try to force it in that manner, sure, we still can gain some lessons. There's some learning in that too. And so there are no negative experiences. I don't truly believe that. So let's say we do push it and we miss out on some opportunities. We still have some understanding in that. We can learn from that. And that's not to say that that thing that we were waiting for will never come now. It just may come in a different form. It may come later. And it doesn't matter because we eventually will receive what we were meant to receive. So please don't feel pressured in that, oh man, I screwed up. I let my ego take over and, messed up the whole shebang. It's all meant to play out the way it was meant to play out. So if at a moment we allowed our egos to take charge and force something and we missed out on one opportunity, then we can take that as a form of learning and we can grow from that. And that's beautiful too. And that, the next thing that comes along, hey, maybe is even more beautiful because now we've grown from that other experience that we wouldn't have had if we hadn't listened to our ego. So in essence, sometimes we can thank the ego for, doing what it does, because it shows us where we need to heal, and we can gain learning from that just as much as we can gain learning from our higher self. But our higher self is the one that shows us where we can gain that learning from the ego, where the ego is showing us where we need to heal, where it was impatient. So be gentle with yourself in this process. Remember, no bad experiences. There are no negative experiences. They're just experiences. The label we give them, that comes from our ego. When we say that was bad and that was good, you know, things can feel a certain way. Sometimes things don't feel so good, but we can learn from that too. Why didn't it feel good? Where is that actually coming from? Or that felt great. Well, why did it feel great? Where is that coming from? So I love it. I love it. And that helps to build our confidence in our higher selves, in our heart space, where we just trust the process and we understand that we're humans. We all have an ego program. We're all human. We all make quote unquote mistakes, but it all leads to learning. So, really, was it a mistake or was it just an avenue that we took? You know? All right. Okay, so let's see what you guys got. I love your messages. So, uh, let's go back here. Silver Star says, yes, I had to put my brace on my right wrist. It's been acting funky. Uh, but not like George Clinton funky, you know, the funky bunch. Susie says, wow, Heather, healing to her as well. Lisa said, Saint Sebastian, resilience. Heck yeah, heck yeah. Silver Star says, reconciliation. I'm feeling union of what we view as opposite, what we view as opposing or restitution. It's a temporary delay. You have the tools when the time is right. Exactly. And then Elise says, stay playful to transform and find love. Allow death. Do not compare yourself to others. We may feel we have too much to do, but we must ground and find stability. Beautiful, beautiful message. And Susie says, beautiful message as well. Yes. And Silver Star says, oh, she was putting in restrictions. Well, restitution sometimes is what our ego wants, but yes, restrictions. And she was also saying that Elise had a beautiful message. Elise is interesting. My Six of Pentacles is a character that turned on a comrade over jealousy. But learning in all things. And John says, we can't control the weather outside till we learn to control the weather inside ourselves. Who thought uh, or has learning and growing had to be painful? Oh, yeah. Who taught us that learning and growing had to be painful? Exactly. And that's something that James and I were talking about um, as we've been going through some things that it's sometimes physically quite painful. But then we have to ask ourselves, why did we choose the route of pain? It doesn't have to be that way. But perhaps that is a matrix programming. Maybe it was a school programming or just societal programming that the belief that the things that we want that are beautiful and that we might enjoy has to go through a painful path. Maybe that's something that's you know, in each and every one of us, which means that it's part of the collective consciousness. But if it's part of the collective consciousness, that means since we're part of it, we can always change that. So perhaps we may all believe that if I want to get somewhere or I want to heal or I want to remove my ego, it's got to be a painful process, but it doesn't have to be. But we got to remove that belief first so it doesn't have to be painful. um, Elisa's love yours as always, Silver Star. Silver Star. Ah, Peg says the ego is like the trash can icon where all your deleted things go. Sometimes we need to clear that sucker. A lot of lessons and blessings in there, and we need to flush them. Yes, yes, 100%. She says they will still hold the wisdom, just dumps all the knowledge it took to get it. Exactly. Exactly. I like actually I like that. The little and we're dumping the wastebasket. But you know, there was a lot that took to finally figure out that I had to, number one, throw it away. And then once I realized, oh, it's still there in my wastebasket, I didn't actually like get rid of it, that it was just contained in a different location. Oh, wait, okay. Now I know that I gotta permanently delete that. So I love that. All righty, some beautiful messages coming in. Okay, let me get a drink of water and then I want to share some stories. And if John would like to share his dream, I want to hear it, you know? I mean, or if anybody else has some has some cool things that you want to share about the solstice, about anything that happened this week, about the full moon, Litha, Maybe you had in a little accident and you hurt yourself, and but there was some like weird synchronicity with it. There was some learning. I would love to hear about it because I think right now we'll do a little story time and then we'll go out on our walk. Okay, hydrate if you haven't hydrated yet. um, Silver Stars is kind of funny. They call it clearing the cache. I know, right? There's cash and then there's cache. Cache. um, okay, so where do I begin with stories? Um, we'll start with James. Okay. Um, so as you know, I practice a bit of a dentistry here on this hill. So I take care of James's teeth. I take care of my own teeth. You know, doing cleanings. I can do simple fillings, like permanent fillings. And I filled one of my teeth, and I filled some of his other teeth. But there was one tooth where I knew that I couldn't really do a filling because the cavity looked like it extended below the gum line, and it it would either need a root canal or it would need to be taken out. Root canals are extremely expensive, so we just decided that we were going to take this tooth out. For those of you who know, it was his first molar. Your first molars are what you get when you're like in late elementary school, like early adolescence. You get your molars in. Anyway, um, so there's information in that too. So like what if that particular tooth is affected and that's the age that that tooth comes in, that's something to look into. So anyway, we decide to go to the dentist, but we didn't really want to go to the dentist because we're all about healing the self. But we tapped into our intuition, and the intuition was like, no, go to the dentist. So, number one, so this person can take it out because I don't have Novocaine. I don't want to hurt James. I'm sure it would be a messy procedure. Even though I do have the tools to extract a tooth, I do have the professional tools for it. I don't have any Novocaine. And in case the tooth broke, I wouldn't know how to get the tooth out. And sometimes with bigger teeth that have bigger roots that are tougher to come out, sometimes the tooth breaks, and then you might need stitches. I can't do that. I don't have the knowledge yet to do that, but I could maybe at a future date. So I'm calling all over Sholo for a dentist, one that won't rip us off, because it's like highway robbery with these dentists sometimes, where it's less about the care of the patient and more about paying off their medical school. So I'm calling around. It's like crazy. Like some people are like, oh, for a simple extraction, that'll be like $500 plus there's a walk-in fee, plus there's x-ray fee of like $200 or something. We're like, what the heck is this? So we finally get a hold of this one dentist that was like, basically the whole thing would be about $200 for x-rays, for a walk-in, and for extracting the tooth. We're like, oh, okay. But they wouldn't be able to see us for a few days. So in the meantime, James was kind of going to be in pain. So I put him on 800 milligrams of ibuprofen, which is what I remember for when I had a track injury, what my doctor put me on for like extreme injury and pain. Um, and so we finally get to go see this dentist. And it was, first of all, it was strange because it was in a barn, and it was like everybody passed by this dentist, and it's like nobody wanted to really go see this dentist, but it had a few clients, in the parking lot. And it was like this little red barn where you might expect to see chickens or something inside, but you go inside and it's a beautiful office, you know, and everybody in there is just happy and joyful. They welcome you in. The staff is like joking with each other. It's like a very like high vibration environment. Well, James comes in. He says, "I want to get this tooth extracted," and the dentist says, "Well, okay." He didn't try to sell him on so he didn't try to upgrade him and say, "Well, we could put you on a payment plan for a root canal," like other dentists have done in the past. So it was like, okay. He even joked about twisting his ankle. He says, "Oh yeah, I twisted my ankle." First, he said that he twisted his ankle. What do you say? Cage fighting. But he was a very jovial character. You could tell he was super high vibration, and he had a really tough time taking James's tooth out. Like I was sitting in the room with him because I'm always interested. I'm trying to learn techniques. So it took him a while. It took like 10 minutes of him just like kind of moving back and forth before he was able to get out this really thick tooth with this really thick root. And he pulls it out and he says, "Well, here's your problem." He says, "That cavity, wow, that went all the way down. You could see how soft it is. That tooth was just deteriorating from the inside out." And he says, "I'm glad we pulled that tooth. But I was trying to tap into James's tooth energetically while he was sitting there getting it pulled, and all I could see was this like darkness, like falling out, like it was trying to hold on, and it looked like it was part of his ego trying to hold on desperately to that tooth, in the physical sense. But as soon as like I pushed in my own energy, realizing that my soul is his soul, and I'm as ready to release this as he is ready to release this, it popped out, and so James was like, "Well, you're the bone collector. Like, probably I would thought that you would want to keep my tooth." And I said, "No, that tooth represents a huge part of your ego. Why on earth would we want to bring that home with us? We were trying to get rid of that." So that made sense. So now he's in recovery. I mean, he's not in pain right now because he's on a lot of ibuprofen, but he's going through a huge healing process, and this is a huge release. And what I learned from tapping into it is this: for him, it was part of his abundance program, like the money program that we all have here in the Matrix. And the Matrix says that the only way we can get things is through money, or depending on the year, it is through gold or through whatever. um, and he's releasing that program. And because it's such a huge thing, it was very painful. Like his body was ready to get rid of it physically, but also his higher self was ready to get rid of that program. So there was a lot of pain that's surrounding it. There's still a lot of pain surrounding it as he heals. But as he's healing, our reality around here is shifting and changing, for me as well as him. So it was like through this painful process, but like John was saying, doesn't always have to be pain, but we just kind of manifested it that way. That's how that was the 3D representation of the release that he was doing in 4D. Now for me, I have had one tooth taken out, and it was the same first molar but on the opposite side, because we're twin flames. Everything for us is mirrors. So for him it was on the masculine side, for me it was on the feminine side. So if you look back there, I'm missing my first molar. um, so that was interesting. That's story number one. um, and let me look back at what you guys were saying, and then we'll go into story number dos. Let's see. Um, Lisa says, "I banged my head on a guitar today. Only I could do this." I ran into walls like face first. Susie says, "That is pretty freaking amazing, Tara, to do your own." Well, I have a very brave patient that doesn't mind that I practice on him. Um, Elise says, "Lisa, ouch for you and your baby." And Peg says, "That video could potentially go viral, Lisa." I know, right? And Susie says, "Dentists can be crooked." Yeah, but what we learned was this dentist we went to, the reason not many people were frequenting this dentist, because I think he did a fabulous job. Oh, and by the way, not only did he do a great job, but after he got home from work, he called James and gave him his personal cell phone number and said, "If you have any questions, please call me at home, call me on my cell." He was calling our home to see how James was doing after his like mini oral surgery. So to me, that's new earth. Like a lot of people I feel are waiting for new earth, but I feel like new earth is already here, because we're all in our own different realities. And I feel like that is a new earth doctor or dentist. Like that's somebody who cares, genuinely cares about the people that are coming in. They're not here to fleece people. They're here to help heal. And although for now it's still going through a money system, who knows, maybe that might change into a bartering, or maybe we're just helping each other, you know? But I feel like that's the start of it. I'm like, that's a freaking 5D dentist over there. Let's go back here. Susie said, "So happy for James." Lisa says, "I'm glad James got the tooth out." Yep. Peg says, not a fan of dentists either. Remember the dentist, Steve Martin and Bill Murray. The patient is excited to go because he will get a candy bar. Rick Moranis, Little Shop of Horrors. That's interesting that you mentioned like Steve Martin and Bill Murray, Rick Moranis. I was thinking of something that also Steve Martin was in with Martin Short, and it was the Three Amigos and Chevy Chase. And I just saw Martin Short in a rerun of Arrested Development because I'm watching that show from beginning to end now because I'd never seen Arrested Development before. So synchronicity. Angela says, blessings and hugs, everyone. Sorry I'm late today. Blessing, love, light, and joy to all of you today. Amen. She says, wishing James healing and a fast recovery to may you both be safe the whole day through. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Susie said, happy news. And Angela's just asking how Susie is doing. Lisa says, Edgar Casey messages. Ooh, all right. Angela says, oh, what a great dentist. John said, the first guide I met was on a summer solstice. There's a male higher aspect of myself. You've met with them, Tara. I used the solstice for healing my relationship with the sacred masculine. That's like if I could high five you through the video, boop. That's amazing. Love it. Silverstar says herbal preparations such as clove, cinnamon, datura, thyme, and jasmine have local anesthetic properties and are used in medicine and dentistry. Yeah, what I was using besides like when he wasn't on ibuprofen, I was also using ginger and turmeric because he was going through what felt like the tooth becoming abscessed. Like when you start to feel a little dizzy or a little sick to your stomach while having tooth pain, that usually means the tooth has become abscessed, but you can reverse the abscess. So I had him like swishing with hydrogen peroxide, like diluted 2-to-1 hydrogen peroxide. And then I had him drink turmeric and ginger tea. The ginger to calm his stomach. Turmeric is a antibiotic, like it's a natural antibiotic, but turmeric being an antibiotic is also a blood thinner, so you can't take it really at the same time that you're doing ibuprofen because ibuprofen is also a blood thinner. So when there was no ibuprofen in his system, he was taking the turmeric. And so when the tooth came out, obviously it wasn't abscessed anymore, so he did get to reverse it. So I was like, yeah. And I also think it's the reason why he didn't get prescribed any antibiotics is because you know. Let's see. Let's go back here. But yeah, clove. Clove is a really good one. And datura, thyme. Yeah, all really good like astringents, but also they have really good healing properties as well. So I love it. I love, you guys have such wonderful knowledge. It's amazing. Silverstar says, was watching something on plants. I know there's something that I have natural naming agents too, or numbing agents. Yeah, clove is a numbing agent. I guess you could also drink kava. Kava has a very mild numbing agent, like, but it lasts for a very short amount of time, like on your tongue and in your mouth. Silverstar says, I've been looking into everything. I love it. Lily says, I used to do dentals on animals, and the grosser the better. Thought of doing a traveling business, but I'd have to have a vet on staff, even though I'm licensed. Maybe I'll revisit it again. I think that's a wonderful idea, Lily. I think, hey, that would be really good. Lisa says, things are changing. A guy just randomly blessed me the other day. Dude, yeah, I totally agree with you, sister. Like, things are changing and it's different for each of us in our own realities, but as a collective, big changes, big changes. And Peg says, you go, girl, Lily. Angela says, good to see you too. How is everyone today? Wishing you all hugs and cake, much cake. Aw. Cake is nice and soft, good for people who just had dental work done. Perhaps chew on the other side. John says, I've been working on mala dedication to the Kali aspect of Devi. Finished it last week, dedicated it last night, and spent time at the altar, gave her a shot of whiskey, and slept with it under my pillow. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Man, you guys are doing some amazing work. And I thank you guys for sharing all of this. This is wonderful. Um, I think for me, what did I make for James? I made him fruit pops. So I have these popsicle molds, and I got some frozen fruit, chopped it up, mixed it with a little bit of mango juice, and froze it. So that way he has something to help bring down the swelling a little bit with something cold, but also nice and something sweet and juicy enough that it doesn't hurt his mouth. So yeah, I made some of those. Um, and I did make soup that first night, but at first I was ungrounded, so I effed up the soup and made oatmeal and a protein shake instead. Our neighbor has been amazing. He's been asking like do you guys need anything? I'll go into town. I can go get it for you. He's like, I have Ensure. He says drinks, in case he needs protein and electrolytes. And he did. He brought some over. We had a couple of other people just pop up randomly, start texting me, asking like, how are you and James? And I'm like, well, interesting you should ask today. He just came back from the dentist. And so everybody was offering their herbal knowledge. A lot of them were like, yeah, we don't go to doctors anymore. This is what we've learned from our ancestors. Everybody was passing on like their ancestral knowledge, their herbal knowledge. Like, I'm like, dude, this is new earth. Like, I love it. Um, let's go back here. Silver Star says, I'll send some Reiki to assist in healing if he's open to it. Oh, he sure is. He sure is. And she also sent some Reiki as well. So yeah, we'd very appreciative. Elise says, OMG, I love these Mertu cards. I lost the Queen of Hearts and worried I couldn't use them as a tarot. This is my first reading with them. They're not only strong, but seem to love talking with me. Just as a side note. That's beautiful. I love when we really connect with our like intuitive tools. Like I love it. Angela said, blessings. Sorry for any word errors. Hey, no worries. We were just talking about that. Like, that's more, I feel, the technology than it is us. John says, she came to me this morning and basically told me it's all right to have dreams in life, not to worry, and that everything would work out well because she's watching it for me. That was my full moon ritual a day late. Hey, I remember time doesn't exist. There is no late. There is no late. But that's beautiful, John. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Elise says, this wonderful news. And Angela's like, dang, John, that is so cool. Angela's like, everybody felt they feel better. Check for some reason. Better check for some reason. Yeah. She says, my Oma Vanda always used to make tea with milk after the dentist. She did cinnamon tea with milk and honey, no sugar. I'm going to guess it was the calcium, and because honey is an antimicrobial. But also the cinnamon is an antimicrobial, and it's also used in antibiotics. So your Oma seems like she was a very wise woman. Silver Star says he's got it. Want to ask first, of course. All righty. Yeah. Okay, so other amazing story. I like this past week, sometimes we have ego flare-ups. I had an ego flare-up. I was feeling in my ego. I was ungrounded. I was like worried about some things that were happening, and it felt like the tipping point happened because I was having these ego thoughts. Some like old stuff had come up and kind of triggered some things. I was not in my I was not in my higher self. Let me just tell you that. So I was fully in my ego. I was just like, and it I went over to the well because James had said that when he turned on the spigot for our little creek that we run for the animals and for the plants and everything, the pressure wasn't as strong. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if the pressure isn't strong coming out of the spigot, that means that the well water in the tank is low, and it should never be low because we have like an automated solar well pump system that it always just keeps it full. And I was like, what the heck? So I go over to the controller, and it's got an error message and shows like the little mechanic guy, like, you got to get this fixed. I look it up on the internet. Basically, it's like showing that the pump exploded. I'm like, how much is this going to cost? Is it still under warranty? I bet it should be under warranty. Man, the people that we got this from, like, they don't like to return our phone calls, and like everything. Why is everything so hard right now? And I was mostly like, I'll tell you exactly, because I share my light and my dark with you guys. So, so you get both halves of me. So like my ego self, my shadow self, was, I felt really drained because I'd been so worried and so focused on trying to help James. I'm trying to do my readings, I'm trying to help other people, and I do exactly the opposite of what I my higher self tells you guys. Like, the message is always fill up your own well. Take care of yourself, before you can help others. You're of no use to others if you're drained. And when you're drained, we're most likely in our ego. I say that all the time, but sometimes, you know, I mess up too. And so I was allowing myself to become depleted. I was allowing myself to run ragged. And so I wasn't doing my meditations. I was putting that off so that I could take care of other people. Um, and so my ego would have me believe that there was good intentions in that, and sure, I guess there was, but if I'm not being kind to myself, and I'm not treating myself the way that I'm treating others. Therefore, I'm making myself separate, which is not a good thing. So I have a whole freak out. Like, it just all comes crumbling down. And the shadow that was coming up is that I feel responsible for everyone and everything. And that if anything goes wrong, it's my fault. And where that was really coming from was not the well, it was not James's tooth, it was not, all the people I'm trying to care for, but it was from a childhood thing. It was from growing up in a crappy household, which, I chose those parents. It was growing up in a household that was where I was responsible for my parents' well-being. I was responsible for their happiness. If they weren't happy, I got a beating. If my brother got hurt, I got a beating. If something broke in the house or bills couldn't get paid, this little kid got a beating. And so I felt like everything was my fault. And I've taken that into adulthood, um, subconsciously. And so I am grateful that the well stopped working. I'm grateful that James's tooth, issue came up, because it was showing me where I really, really needed to let go of that, because I can't help anybody else if I'm feeling responsible and trying to take on their energy and try to take on their weight. I'm not doing them any service. Trying to bypass and take people's pain away and not allowing them to learn the lesson and learn their own empowerment and heal themselves is like the opposite of what I'm trying to teach people. I'm trying to empower people. So I have this whole freak out. I'm crying. I'm spitting just like darkness. I'm saying all this nasty crap about myself. And I'm just like shouting, and and James is like, he's like trying to get me to ground. He was like, you need to stop and meditate right now. Like, meditate right now. Stop talking. He's like, meditate right now. And I'm like, I didn't want to, because my ego didn't want to. But I was like, and so I went in, I like grounded, and it took me a while to ground, but I grounded. My grandmother and grandfather in spirit showed up, and they were like, sweetheart, right now we got to take you through a shadow work method. We're doing shadow work right now. And I'm like, I don't want to do shadow work. They're like, no, that's your ego. You're doing shadow work right now, and you need to do it now, because the best time to do shadow work is when you're triggered, is when you're hysterical and crying, because what better time to do it? What more clarity could you have than when you're in it? It's not, I'll wait until I'm in a better mood. You do it when you're in it. So I'm like, okay. And I calmed myself down. I think that's the first time I've really brought myself back from a spiral like that. Like, James was really proud of me. I was proud of myself. But once I addressed what was wrong, James was like, I guarantee you the well is going to be working like nothing happened tomorrow. The next morning, I went out to the well. There was no error message. The pump had unexploded itself and was now on the timeline where that didn't happen. The tank was full. The well is running right now. We're feeding the animals and then the plants at this moment. the well is just fine. So, um, I mean, it just goes to show that this reality, it's all a dream. It's no different than when we lay our head down to sleep at night and we manipulate our dreams there. We can manipulate this reality here. So, what our brain, our logic thinks is impossible, like, oh, my car is broken. Oh, the well is broken. Oh, this is going to cost me money. They're breaking, or whether we broke our wrist or whether we broke the well, they're breaking to show us something. And we absolutely 100% have the ability to fix it, but we have to find out what the real 4D reason was first. When you heal that, I guarantee you that your broken car, your broken well, your broken bones, whatever it may be, our broken emotional body is going to fix itself, because they're just trying to show us where we really need our healing. And so I thank the well. I thanked all the forest creatures for showing me that. And actually, I thank my ego for showing me how um, vehemently it was holding on to that energy. So, wanted to share that with you guys too. All right, let's see what you guys had to say. Oh, you guys talking about all these wonderful herbs and healing. Angela says she gave me so many hacks. She was talking about her Oma. I use them on myself and I've shared them with friends who are okay with it. I work with her in the ancestors area of my witchcraft. So I still bother her in the afterlife. And she's always glad when I call on her, of course. At least it's so much coolness. Peg says, me too, Superstar. On a side note, too, I think that's why you don't have the viewership. I feel that we will be changing soon and we don't need the trolls trampling all over our vibes. I know, right? I mean, it's like the people that are meant to hang with us, they hang with us. The people that are meant to see things, they're meant to see things. Can't force it. Susie says, my friend John, George's best friend, has talked me through my arm situation and it is all working out. And Liesel too. So I'm going with the flow. And Peg says, the trolls are falling off thanks to New Earth and her vibes. Heck yeah. Angela says, and I agree, troll vibes be gone and go away. We don't need negativity today or any day. Transmute it all to love and light. Everything will be balanced out and be all right. Amen. Amen. Lisa says, I hear you, Tara. Aw, thanks, you guys. Angela says, hugs, Tara. You don't have to take on others' energy. You're amazing. The shadow thoughts are lying to you. You're loved, you matter, and we all love you. Thank you. I love you guys as well. And that's what I recognize. They were just ego thoughts. And what does the ego do? It lies. It lie. Every chance it takes. Peg says, Tara's amazing, and so is James. James is amazing. I'm very, very grateful to have found him. And then he found me. We found each other. Susie says, you rock, James. John said, new meaning to in it to win it. I know, right? We're here for it. Angela's like, oh, wow, dang. Susie says 10:10 on the clock. Angela says, gosh, I love that joy tears moment. And Nancy says, I love this, Tara. Thank you for this important reminder. Of course. That's why I share the light and the dark with you guys. Just to give you guys one perspective is or one half of me is disingenuine, I feel. I mean, you get the whole shebang with me. Elise is like, whoa, Tara, I felt similarly. I've come to similar conclusions. I've been getting my ass kicked too. Yeah, all ego. This made me cry. It resonated so deeply. I'm glad it helps you guys. It's like, I am so glad. Silverstar says, yes, I broke two things this last week. I heard a general curse broken both times. Then I was feeling something would reach reconciliation. Then I had someone hit me up out of the blue. My tourmaline. Oh, wow. And Susie says, Lisa, we love you. Angela said, hugs for the whole chat. Everyone who wants hugs. Silverstar says, went missing and, her tourmaline went missing. And she had it for 8 years and she made the choice to move on for herself. Susie says she loves the whole shebang. And Angela says, for everybody in the chat who sees this later, this is your friendly reminder that you are loved, you matter, you are not alone, you are alive for a reason, and the world is brighter with you in it. Don't give in. Exactly. Exactly. Silver Star says, once I did it, I felt better. I took the time to really think about the situation and heal from the situation. And this is what I'm talking about. I think that this message that we got for this week about patience is that, things are going to come up, and we may, especially if they're uncomfortable, we just want it to go away right away. Like I in the moment with the well thing, I wanted that to just go away right away, but it wasn't going to go away until I healed myself. James's tooth issue wasn't going to go away until he figured out where that was really coming from. And the same for all of us, that those uncomfortable things, we can put a band-aid on it, but it's just going to keep coming back until we find out where it's really coming from. Why do I resonate with this energy? Why did I bring this in? Because we are in charge of our reality. Why are we attracting these people or these things? And it's nothing bad about us. Remember that ego perspective of good and bad. It's just a situation. So why did we bring this in? And when we have that broader perspective of it's just a situation, and if I brought this in, which is empowering, by the way, it's not something that's just happening to us, but I had the power, I brought it in, I'm in charge of my healing, I have the power to heal it, and I have the power to fix it. I have the power to make this a reality. To me, I mean, what better thing in this world than to realize that we have had that power all along, that we're not just floating around in space all helplessly, we have the power. Angela said, hugs received and hugs back to everyone. Hugs. I used to say light shares when I was a teenager. Aw. Nancy says, I have to leave. Love to everyone. Thank you, Tara. You are very welcome. Nancy, I hope you have a beautiful day and week. Angela says, because I found out that time sunflowers share light by leaning their faces together and hugging when it's cold. Aw, that's beautiful. So they turn and face each other. Angela says, and when they can't find the light, they turn and find a hug. That's so beautiful. Everybody saying bye to Nancy. All right, so next amazing story. Okay, this one involves Miss Squirrel. And like I said, she got injured this week. Let me tell you what happened. I was in the house. James is like he keeps calling me, Tara, Tara, come out here, come out here. I'm like, okay, okay. I come out. He's like, Miss Squirrel is eating a snake. I was like, what? I come out to the tree that's right behind me, actually, and there's like a baby snake. It's probably about this long. It's a rattlesnake, and Miss Squirrel is eating it, but it looked like she was eating it. What I realized what she was doing is it looked like she was eating it, but she was taking and she was mushing it up in her mouth, like the bits of the snake, and she was putting it on her wounds because the snake bit her on her tail multiple times and on her hindquarters. And so I tapped into the energy because the blue jays were all hopping around like they were all chatting. So I tap into her energy. I tap into the Blue Jays energy. I'm asking what happened. And I'm so worried because Miss Squirrel is pregnant. And I don't know what litter this is because she's like repopulating this hill with little babies. Um, so I tap into it, and Miss Squirrel said that she didn't want to be afraid of snakes anymore because anytime there's been a snake around here, she runs to the top of the tree and she like makes this weird chirping sound, and she brings in all these animals so that they can eliminate the problem. And she has trauma from snakes because last year at this exact same time, a snake had come into a rat's nest where she stays because the rats, they allow anybody to come stay with them. Rabbits, squirrels, chipmunks, the rats, it's like a hostel for everybody in the on the hill. And so she had just given birth to babies. Well, a rattlesnake had come in and tried to kill those babies, but the rats had chased out the snake. So she's had trauma from it. So she's always avoided snakes. She just calls somebody else to come deal with the problem. Well, she decided, just like we do when we heal, we have to face our traumas. So she faced her trauma and she realized that by running away from her problem, she was causing problems for everybody on the hill. She says, I have the power to take on this snake myself. So that's what she did. She did it for the new baby bunnies that we have here. We have cottontails, we have baby Sammy, that's really sweet. Um, we have, she's pregnant. She still has other squirrel babies that are still very young. There's a lot of babies. There's lizard babies around. There's a lot of babies at the moment, birds, everything. And so the blue jays were dive bombing, they said, the snake to try to like help Miss Squirrel. So Miss Squirrel and her blue jay friends were all trying to attack the snake. So she wrestled with it. This pregnant mama wrestled this rattlesnake. She bit into it. She let it bite her tail so that she could like pin it. And then she ripped the hell out of it. So basically, she was like, I faced my trauma and I ate it. So I was like, dude, that's divine feminine energy. That's the balance between masculine and feminine. Like she took that. I was like, oh my God, I want to be this squirrel. And she was just like, I'm just watching her eat it. She let us get really close to her while she was cleaning her wounds. And I was like trying to ask her if she was going to be okay. And she was like, hey, listen, I'm going to be just fine. I'm actually kind of immune to snake venom. She's like, and I did this for everyone. She's like, I did it for you guys. I did it for all the animals here. I did it for all the babies. She goes, I don't want snakes to cause this kind of trauma for anybody else. So when she was done kind of cleaning herself off, she rolled in the dirt to kind of close up her wounds. She ran right up to James. Like when I say right up to James, she was like within 2 or 3 inches of him. And she just stared at him. She stood up on her hind legs and she was talking to him. And what James got was she was saying, you're family too. I did this for you much as I did this for my own babies. And then after James went in the house, she ran up to me and I got down on the ground and she ran right up to my skirt, that I wore. This was on the summer solstice, by the way. This happened on the solstice. Um, so on the 21st, and she ran right up to me again, just a couple inches from me, and she put her hands in like a prayer position and she was doing this to me. And I was like, and she was talking and she was like, your family too, I did this for you. And she goes, I'm trying to show you that if I can do it, if a squirrel can take on a rattlesnake and save the whole hill, then imagine what you could do. And I was like, I was like, my heart, oh my goodness. And so every time I see her, I'm like, you are a badass mama. And I want to grow up and be just like you. And so the rest of the day, obviously, she took the day off. We grabbed a bunch of fruit from our house and we gave her some fruit. She was still on the high of like killing a snake. So she was like, woo, but she appreciated the fruit. She came over and thanked us, but she wanted to go spend time with her children the rest of the day. So I saw her calling in each of our kids to come home. Like let's just be home today. Sammy was really scared. What originally prompted her to take out the snake is because she said the snake tried to attack the cottontail. And so she interfered and she kept Sammy from dying because Sammy is not immune to snake venom. And so Sammy was frightened, as can be expected. So she stayed home the rest of the day. But then the next day, everybody was out and about. Everybody seems like more comfortable with us than ever. Like everybody seems closer. We realized that the day before this happened, we heard all these ravens. They were all over the RV. They were under the RV. There must have been like 20 or 30 ravens, and they were so loud. They were caw, caw, caw. And what happened is that same snake was right near the house, and the ravens had chased it under, and they were trying to chase it away again to protect everybody on this hill, human and animal, and everybody, insects, lizards. So the ravens were trying to protect, and since the snake came back and the snake tried to kill the rabbit, Miss Squirrel took matters into her own hands and she took out the snake herself, and then she ate that snake. Um, and so when I passed by the Jeep, I always keep the hood up on the Jeep so that little furry friends don't try to make nests underneath my hood. She was standing right on my engine, and she like was waving at me, and I was like, Miss Squirrel, what are you doing in my Jeep? You can't be in there. And she was like, it's okay, sis, one of my little kids was in the engine, I'm just chasing him out. She was like, but look, I'm fine today. She's not 100%, she's still recovering, but she's been running up to me and James to let us know, like, look, I'm okay, I'm fine, I'm healing, just like you're healing, I'm healing now too. So I thought that was an amazing, like, really had to share that with you guys because James and I both agree. I have never such an act of bravery from any being, whether it was human or animal, to selflessly sacrifice themselves to save everybody else. Like in my lifetime, like I haven't seen that. I've heard stories, we've read books, you know, I've read history, but I've never seen that. And then to witness it, I took video, by the way, like of her eating the snake. And like, I was just like, so yeah, I just felt like I needed to share that. Okay, so let's go back here. Um, Angela's like, squirrels eat meat. What? No way. Yeah, it's not really that she ate meat, but she was eating her trauma. She was like, I am not scared of snakes anymore. And yeah, and that was her way of healing from her trauma. Just like we do shadow work, that was her animal way of healing from that. And her healing has now benefited. Like, what other metaphor for us in our own healing? That when we heal ourselves, we heal, we help everybody around us. Like, Silver Stars, it really is so beautiful. I read that recently. It makes my heart smile. Angela says, oh gosh, Miss Squirrel, may she feel better soon. Sending her love. Um, Susie's like, I have trauma for her. John says, talking about being with discomfort. I know, right? Angela's like, so brave. Elise was like, damn. Angela says, dang, Miss Squirrel is such a mama bear. Silver Star says, warrior squirrel. That's amazing. Everybody's like, wow, badass. So beautiful. Angela said, sending your healing and love feels so symbolic. Something dangerous was removed to make things safer. Exactly. Exactly. John says, I've seen a squirrel catch and eat a finch. Holy cow. So, yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes, I don't know, we don't know our own strength. You know, sometimes we look at like, let's say a squirrel, for instance. Like, I hear I think this cute little doting squirrel, and here that she's a badass mama. She did that while she was pregnant. Like, and she said her babies are safe, by the way. And she says the only reason that she's immune to snake venom, which I read on the internet, that yeah, depending on like where a ground squirrel lives, if they live in an area where there's a particular type of snake, over millennia they will develop a resiliency to snake venom. And the reason being, if we want to look at this spiritually speaking, is that when one ancestor decides to heal from something, that gets passed down the whole generational line. That so like the healing that we do now, our the generations that come after us feel it, but also so does the collective consciousness. So the only reason that she is immune to that venom is because somewhere down the line, some grandma or grandpa squirrel decided, I'm facing my fears right now. So, I mean, what better lesson for us as humans, right? Oh my goodness. Angela says, mamas are whole different creatures. Don't mess with the mama of any kind. I know. And but the fact is we have a mama in each of us. We're masculine and we're feminine. And so we can tap into that brave, like mama energy whenever we want, just like we can tap into that actionable masculine energy anytime we want. So let that be something, you know, to take with us today. And on that note, I hope that we can see her on this walk. I think it's time for our nature walk. So I'm gonna have some water here. And let me show you around the hill. Let's talk about some of the plants. If you guys want to tap into any of the animals here, any of the plants, please share your downloads, share your messages. I'm going to hold on, fix the tripod here just a bit. Okay, I'm gonna hold this. Sorry, I'm just getting ready for our little walkie. Okay, let's bring in the other leg, like so. And let's see who we can see. Alrighty, let's go. Angela says, yay, out into Mama Nature. I did that yesterday. I went down to the green area near my home to watch the swallows. Beautiful. Okay, let's turn this camera around. We don't have to look at my face anymore. Okay, I'm gonna put my little solar charger in my pocket. Alrighty, so thank you for that. To the one seed juniper tree. We have these juniper trees all over the property. Some of them are one seed junipers like this. Some of them are known as Mormon junipers, and they're more of like a bush-like shape. But the ones that you see with the berries, just like this, these are actually not berries. These are seeds, hence why they're called one seed junipers. So if you were to break these open, you would notice that there's a little seed inside. They're very hard, like a little nut. You can eat these. These aren't ripe yet. When they turn a very deep purple color, then they're ripe, but they take 2 years to mature. So juniper trees can live up to 1,000 years or longer. So in order for a tree like this to become as big as it is, it's probably about 800 or 900 years old. So, and they take a long time to grow. If you cut any of their limbs never grow back. So they're very sacred. So be kind to junipers. But we live in a pinyon juniper forest. So pinyon pine tree, they have like a symbiotic relationship. Each other helps each other's soil. So as one dies, sometimes it helps the other soil. Oh my gosh, hold on. I see something. I don't know if you guys can see it. Um, Hanging right there. Snakeskin. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Um, okay, so these, many of the natives in this area, particularly the Diné, which are the Navajo, um, they would do something called bidesh. Bidesh is the name for clearing. Like they would burn like a like let's say they would break off a branch like this. They would burn it, and then the ash and the smoke was used for purification purposes. The ash itself would be used for food, like for corn, and that was how they were able to get all of the nutrients out of their food. Like nowadays, if we just eat some corn plain, that corn goes right through your system. But if you were to burn juniper ash, and mix it in with your corn, you would get all of the vitamins and nutrients that you were meant to get from corn. Sorry for the wind, by the way. John says, nice healing message with the snake skin. I know, right? Elise says, watch later. Bye all. This was fun. Elise, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Have a beautiful week, by the way. Angela says, blessings, Elise. Hugs for you. May you have a beautiful day full of hugs and cake. Amen. So these would be called ditse seeds in Navajo or in Diné. So these are also used in gin. We don't make gin, but some people make like kombucha. And in the kombucha, they would mix in sometimes some of these. And yeah, it's a really good tonic. If you have urinary tract infections or any sort of digestive issue, if you make a tea with about 5 of these mashed seeds, you have to mash them. You have to open them up. That would be very helpful. It's also really good for skin ailments of any kind. So you can turn these into a salve, you know. Angela said, Oma said, when the wind comes around, you angels and loved ones are joining the walk. Well, maybe that's why the wind has come then. They have come to join us. All right, over here I have one of my hummingbird feeders. The little hummingbirds, I don't know where they are right now, but they've been zipping by having crazy time with each other. So, okay, over here, I made a little grave for, I don't know if you guys remember Rogerta. Rogerta was our other cottontail. They used to frequent this hill. Unfortunately, she passed away when it got really cold during our first frost, and she didn't have a warm place to stay. So I buried her energy here. Oh my gosh, there he is, our hummingbird. See, they're there. They're all over the place. Um, so yeah, that's little Rogerta's grave. If we come over here, Susie says, "Love you all. Thank you, Tara. I have to leave so I can go to the store before it gets hotter. Thank you. See you next week." All right, Susie. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. Have an amazing week, and sending healing to you as well. Angela says, "Ah, Oma's favorite hummingbirds. Those are considered Anna's hummingbirds or Anna's hummingbirds." John says, "Do rabbits also come back as a hummingbird?" You know what? Maybe they do. Okay, so here, I have to straighten this out again. You notice there's little bullet casings. I also have this cigar here, but this is Anna's grave, the Navajo woman or Diné woman who is buried here. I put a piece of sandstone, which was left over from her people about 400 years ago. We realized she was buried here when they put in our septic system and they unearthed her body. So it was like her bones, her skull, her turquoise jewelry, and some pots. I gave her a proper reburial. We had them move the septic system so that they wouldn't unearth her other family members. But she said her husband and children are actually buried right where I buried Rogerta, by that tree. She says that over by that tree over there, there's some other people from the village that are buried. So we made sure that the septic system kind of like went around their bodies. So I have put pieces of her pottery that I've kind of found around here, around her home and where she used to live. And her home was right there. And that's where I plan to put a hogan of my own, which is what they used to live in. So this is real pottery from her time. It's about 400 years old. When James shoots off his 308, his Charlie, as he calls it, he leaves some shells for her. I like to leave cigars, for tobacco blessings. And we usually just come by and say hello to her, but we tap into her anytime. So yeah, so that's Anna. But I wanted to kind of show you some of the plants that grow in this area. First, maybe we can go over here. So these beautiful little flowers, where all these bees are, we have some pollinators in here. This is called white stem paper flower. And they usually come when it starts getting really hot. So they usually arrive at the tail end of May. And they'll stay here probably through monsoon season. So here in Arizona, or in the mountains of Arizona, we have the monsoons. And so it gets really humid. It gets cloudy usually later in the day, so the temperatures stay relatively cool around here, but it does get muggy and humid. Um, but we get these like torrential rains, but they last only a short amount of time. But the rains produce these beautiful flowers just like this. And these types of flowers bring in the pollinators, which continue to help feed the forest. I used some of these in a litha, a solar cross wreath that I made and I hung over our door, just to remind me of sunshine. And what I think is beautiful is that this whole hill, whatever flower grows here, most of the time it's yellow flowers, whether it's chinchweed or it's the white stem paper flower. Angela says, "I see these same flowers. They are so cute." They are. They are so adorable. Silverstar says, "I love this. Such a fun idea to do a nature walk." I'm glad you guys voted on this one because I was like, heck yeah, I want to take you guys on a nature walk. Okay, so off to the side here, this bushy thing here, This is actually called snake broom, most likely because snakes like to hide in here. So I'm not really going to stick my hand in there just in case, but I will rub the tops like this, and you can see that it's kind of got like a stiff material to it. Well, when it dries, many of our native peoples that lived here, they use this as like a broom. So when it's nice and dry, they would take a handful of it and they would use it like to hand sweep their hogans, like the floor of the places that they live. So it's kind of like just like a broom. This is in the mugwort family. So you can use it like mugwort. You can smoke it. It is a tobacco alternative if you wanted it to be. Um, but you can also use it for ceremony as well. And because snakes, usually this is like a breeding place for snakes. Um, they saw snake not as bad, but as a form of transformation. So to shed one's skin, it was a form of medicine and healing, and so this would also be used in ceremony. Angela says, "Ah, what a friendly shrub. He seemed like the head scratches." Yeah, I do little head scratchies. Lisa says, "I have to run, peeps. See you next time." All right, Lisa, we'll catch you next time, chica. All right, let's go over here. Let's go past the past the septic system, and we get into all these tall looking plants. Do you guys know what these are? These are globe mallow. So globe mallow, let's go over here, produces these little orange flowers. Angela says, "Blessings, Lisa. Love and hugs for you. May angels hold you in their wings and your day be full of fun and good things. Amen." Amen. All right. Okay, so you can see there's pollinators all over this one as well. But this is called globe mallow. And what the natives used to use this for was for a hair rinse, but also a stomach tonic. So when you dry out the basically the flowers and the stems, you can turn this into a hair tonic, like a hair rinse, and it makes your hair nice and shiny, makes it nice and healthy, has a nice smell to it too. So you could do that. Some of them use the roots, but I was thinking of maybe giving this a go and using some of our globe mallow since we have more of it this year. If something's in short supply, I try not to use it really until it can propagate itself a little bit more. And then I just take from a little from each plant instead of from one plant. So that way it's like a form of trimming, but also at the same time, I'm not trying to like decimate the forest here. So yeah, globe mallow also used, but also good for if you have stomach pain, you ate something bad, you can make yourself a globe mallow tea. It's very gentle on the tummy. Silverstar says, "I brought in sunflowers, marigolds, calendula for my candles with some yellow and red rose, uh, nettles for the solstice full moon, and went out and picked some local wildflowers for my altar." Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. So yeah, we got our globe mallow around here. This plant is not globe mallow, but it's going to produce little yellow flowers later on. Like I said, there's a lot of yellow on this hill. Okay, and continuing on, let's go over to our cacti. Because we are at a weird altitude, we're at 6,500 feet, where it's not, it's considered a subalpine. Oops. Let me turn this. There we go. Making sure that's plugged in. Yeah, but this is considered a subalpine region, pinyon pine forest. So it's not desert, but it's also not a high enough elevation to have the super tall pine trees. So we still kind of get cacti. So it's like kind of hard to describe where we live. Um, let's see if we can go in here in this little grove where obviously the cows like to be. Okay, so in here, ooh, check out this little guy. This is a scarlet hedgehog cactus. And so the little flowers are all dried up now because they really only bloom in May. But otherwise, they have beautiful, beautiful red flowers. And they only come out during the daytime, so they close up at night. But these ones are drying out because now we're in late June, so they're not really sticking around too much anymore. Um, but sometimes you see these guys around. They're also pollinators, so they bring in the hummingbirds, they bring in the bees and the butterflies. We get some beautiful monarch butterflies, as well as some other black and yellow butterflies where they're mostly black. I think they're called yellowtails. Yeah, yellowtail butterflies. But anyway, they chill underneath this beautiful juniper. This plant over here, see if I can get in here. We have this other plant here. I forget the literal name of it, but it produces kind of like a mulberry. It's not really a mulberry bush, but they do produce types of berries, and which is really good for the deer that come through here. We have elk, we have deer, we have like roe deer, we have uh, well, white-tailed deer, and we have some other animals that come here. Lately, we've seen a bobcat come through here. James and I were chilling down at the surf and turf table, you know, my surfboard table that I made or that we made together, and a bobcat walked, I don't know, less than 50 feet away from us, kind of stared at us, realized we weren't a threat or anything, just kind of continued on its merry way. Our neighbor caught that same bobcat on his like security cameras. But the bobcat, I would say, is the size of a Rottweiler. It's a big bobcat. But anyway, so, you know, we're just kind of feeding everybody. There is a mountain lion who used to come through here, but right now I think this is bobcat territory. But yeah, we get all kinds of guys around here. Um, and it just says, oh, wow, you're lucky. They avoid staring eye to eye with humans. Yeah, like I say, like the animals here just act differently. Um, yeah, they do. They get big in the mountains for sure. There's one of those other junipers that come in the form of a bush. Um, and let's see if I can go over here and find what some of the locals call a living dead tree. So like this tree actually would be an example of a living dead tree where it looks like the tree is half dead, but it's also half alive. And these trees, again, are like 900 to 1,000 years old. And they just kind of find a way to continue living. And what we've learned from the trees when we tap into them is that they appreciate sensations of all kinds. So whether you're coming up and tickling them like this. And by the way, there's a lot of female trees around here, not so many male trees. The males you won't see any seeds or berries on because they're obviously, they have the pollination, they pollinate these ladies. Um, but when we tap into them, the trees love activity. They're all about transformation. That yes, they do experience pain, but they don't look at things as good or bad experiences. They enjoy all types of experiences. So they said when people cut their limbs, it's an experience, it's just a sensation. And it's very interesting. They said sometimes when a tree is burned, like let's say it's struck by lightning, they said that's also a sensation, and they said we never really die. They said that's the wisdom they want to pass on, is that humans look at things as ending and beginning, life and death. And they said for us it's all about transformation, that even when you see a branch on the ground like this, that is not a dead branch. They said it may look dead, it's dry inside and out, it's not green anymore. They said, but it's just a different form of transformation. They said, my consciousness is still in this branch. It's still in the quote unquote dead tree. but they said they're feeling through this transformation, and they said their consciousness is still there by the time they turn into soil. And when the soil aids their friends around them, their family, to become a new tree, our consciousness joins into that tree. So they said we're constantly alive. We're just going through different stages of transformation. To you, we may look dead, but we're just in a different stage. They said, whereas humans see, well, when you're dead and the vessel is gone, that's it. And they said, and that might be true for you, but that's not true for us. They said, we appreciate all sensations. Everything is just an experience and a form of learning. They said, even when we're used as firewood and we're burned and turned to ash, we're still conscious in that ash. And we blow in the wind and we become a part of everything. It's how we travel. And we get to become one with other plants. If you, let's see, let's take a look at this right here. You guys see this stuff growing on the tree? This is called lichen. And lichen is usually an example of a very healthy forest. We also have like a brown sponginess that sometimes grows on the floor of the forest. And it's a type of fungus, but a very symbiotic relationship that like lichen can't exist without the tree. And it also provides insects and birds and things like that to come to this tree. So it's needed. Everything is needed. Sometimes things are seen as like, I don't know, parasites or vampiric, but really they said we're all a community and we all help each other. So yeah, I mean, if you get down low enough, like you're gonna see some pretty unique, cool stuff around here. Let's see what else we can see. I wonder if we'll see any pottery on this walk because there's legit pottery everywhere. I can't walk too far without stepping on 400-year-old pottery, or sometimes we find Anasazi pottery, also known as the Atul, that we found during a channeling session, um, that's about 2,000 years old. And those people actually ascended. Okay, now I knew there was some pottery over here. Let's see if I can. Okay, see sandstone. By the way, all the sandstone that's up here was brought up here by the natives to make their hogans and their structures. Ooh, check this out. This cool little green rock right there. That's actually copper because we're the copper state, so we have a lot of bits of copper, in our rocks and everything. We have yellow. You guys can see right there. The yellow stones that you see here, those are from the sulfur that actually is in some of the groundwater around here. So we have a lot of minerals here. If I pan out, oops, if I pan out here, you'll see that this is a little rat nest. Well, it's not, well, I guess it's little compared to some of the, okay. Ooh, check this out, moss. Yeah, on a lot of our trees, we have moss that grows on the shady side of these trees, especially the ones that have fallen. And you can see that there's some like, oh, we got a little lizard friend over there. You guys see him? Hey, little guy. He's just chilling on that tree. Hey, dude, we got water up top if you want some. Oh, I hear the raven. Seeing if we got anything. But yeah, so we have moss, got lichen growing on this tree. So it may appear dead, but it sure is sustaining a lot of life. Okay. Man, I hear so many bees. This is wonderful. So let's go up top. I want to show you guys our little creek. So I'm going to make my way. It's always like when I'm looking, oh, here you go. When I'm looking for pottery, I can't find it. When I don't look for it, I find it. So there you go. That's a piece of 400-year-old Dene Navajo pottery. You could tell that it's different from the sandstone that's next to it. Sandstone's very rough, you know, and that's just basically fossilized sand from Jurassic times. Um, but pottery has a very smooth texture, and sometimes it's painted. Sometimes you get a rim of it, sometimes it's in a cool shape. But yeah, okay, let's continue on. And there's a lot of tools as well. Like sometimes you'll find stones that have chipping done to it, so it's not always an arrowhead, because the Anasazi, they're a vegetarian for the most part. But every once in a while in the winter, they had to like uh, have warm things, so they might, skin a deer so that they could have something to wear. So they had like cutting tools for like tanning the hide, scraping the hide down. Um, you can see that we also have some like ground cover over here. And then we have 4 o'clocks. So these flowers that will bloom, they will bloom right at 4 o'clock, hence the name. Let's see, coming over here, John says lichen is like mistletoe, both a plant and a fungus. They're so cool, important for moisture regulation and ecosystems. Exactly. And Angela says, gosh, its energy is different than the stones, big time, for sure. She was talking about the fungus among us. Exactly. Okay, so over here, one of our $5 whatever store finds is great for putting in all of our gardening stuff. But we have a little filter here that's we get from our well. So it just kind of filters out some of the minerals just so it doesn't you know, mess up our plumbing too much because it's very mineraled water. But yeah, so this is fresh from Mama Gaia. So fresh water. It's drinkable as is. I mean, I just drink it. It doesn't have a smell or a taste really, except for a little bit of minerals. But James has been putting together this little creek that basically runs all the way down the hill. I can't really go back there because there's no internet signal, so I'd lose signal with you guys. But as soon as we turn this on in the morning, all the birds come in. There's like hundreds of birds that come. So we have grosbeaks and tanagers. We have the hummingbirds. We have the blue jays. We have finches, like house finches. The doves come by, morning doves, ravens. Everybody comes through here. Oftentimes you'll see the chipmunks come to have a little taste at the creek. Who else comes here? The lizards are usually seen like sipping at the filter there. um, Angela said, gosh, it's so cute. The water really is joyful vibes. So yeah, we just let this run for most of the day. I mean, we have a 2,500 gallon tank, so it refills just fine. And we don't mind watering the forest. I mean, basically, we're bringing water up from the ground and we're putting back into the ground. So, I mean, it's fine. And this place used to be a lake. There are like basically like fossilized clamshells, seashells, fossilized plant matter, and insects, animals, um, all still caught in the stones. Sometimes I still find seashells here. Um, so this used to be an ancient ocean, hence all the sandstone, but also it was a lake. And there's still an ancient staircase where the 2,000-year-old people, the Anasazi, had made stairs down into the lake. Of course, it's dried up now, but all this water, basically the water didn't leave. The water just went further below the surface. And now it's a part of our well. And so, yeah, there's a bunch of birds' nests in these two juniper trees. This is actually a male juniper here, and he is fertilizing these two beautiful ladies right here. So, and there's Quetzadora, my Jeep. Like I said, I leave her hood up because I don't want anybody to make a nest in there, because I don't want to drive off and like have somebody stuck in my vehicle. So I do it as much to save my vehicle from pain, but also so I don't hurt anybody. So in order to keep them out, I have a string of solar lights, and we have solar lights that go around our RV as well, and our cabin. Actually, I need to buy new lights for the cabin because one of them went out. But nocturnal animals don't like to be where there's light, so it does a pretty good job of keeping them out. So hey, if you have an issue with curious and smart little furry creatures that like to get into your things, I would consider putting some solar lights out. We also have a very nice owl that comes through, and the owl does a good job of keeping people away sometimes. Angela said, Quetzadora looks like she's on guard duty. Grr, stay off my lawn. And the sounds you hear in the background, those are our blue jays. Okay, let's see. We go over here, and we have some more of that globe mallow growing here. These are actually thistles, so that'll actually make a really good tea. A lot of the plants here are good digestive tonics, so they're really good for digestion, health. Everything here just grows wild. It's medicinal. Things that, oh, hey, little guy. You guys see him? He's this little lizard guy. The guys that have the racing stripes, I think, are the coolest. And sometimes if you put a little water down, they'll come right up to you and they'll have a little sip. Hey, guy. um, and just this, I see something moving around there. Yeah. Now down on the other side, that's our solar well. There's our, our tank. We have our pressure pump is right there. That actually needs to get fixed though. Um, that was our trailer. That needs to get fixed too. And that was some of our wood that we used in wintertime that we kind of scavenged from around here. We try not to cut down anything. In fact, we don't cut down anything. We just kind of scavenge wood if we need some heat, but we're trying to move away from that too. So I think I'm gonna use my extra solar panels to just create extra energy during the winter time so we can have like an electric heater, because I don't particularly want to like waste money on gas, and I also don't want to like take away from the ecosystem here. So I don't want to take away the plants and the trees from decomposing, which is really good for the soil. But there's a catchment property that's down there where all the cows like to conjugate, and there's like where the water collects. So there's, now that it's dry because there's no monsoon right now, there's a lot of clover down there. There's a lot of thistle down there. There's mullein that grows in abundance down there. There's a whole lot of medicinal plants there. So if I need some extra medicinal plants, I just go to the property over there if something I can't find on my own property. Okay, so now let's walk back here. Now the extent of our property, we're on 40 acres. So, you know, that little house over there is kind of the edge of our property. There's our neighbor over there. And then the property extends to kind of where that catchment is. Got our driveway over there. But yeah, there's many places to explore. You always find something new. And I'm very grateful that we can be in a beautiful place like this. And everything we've built ourselves, except for this cabin. We brought this cabin in. But yeah, we built our solar panels that are right there. We made our little steps, and I don't see any right now, but sometimes our lizards like to live in there, and they come up and they perch up on the stairs, and we'll leave them like some water. You know, people get thirsty around here. That's why we're running the well. Okay, so over here, this is where the mama squirrel and the snake takedown happened. It was right under this tree. So yeah, We have some more globe mallow growing on the side here, sometimes places where it's nice and shady. Some of these plants, they need as much sun as possible, so they live off the UV rays and the intensity of the sun here. Over here, I have a selenite grid, and oftentimes I put food in the middle there, and so Miss Squirrel sometimes will just hang out there. And she just sits there because she loves the energy of it. So she prefers to hang out in the middle of my little selenite triangle under our Anna tree. Um, and yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So sometimes I'll leave little goodies there for her. Other things you might notice while we're walking around here. So you notice where the soil is disturbed. Like there's like little dugout points. Oh, hey, check it out. There's another piece of pottery. Well, I mean, there's pottery everywhere, but yeah, hey, cool. So well, anyway, so what Miss Squirrel does is she digs out like a little area just like this, and then she lays belly down and she spreads out her like legs, and she said that when she's nursing, like her nipples get kind of like hot, you know, because the babies are feeding, they're nursing, and sometimes like you know she just needs to cool her belly down because she's preggo. So she says she puts her belly in the nice cool soil. So I see a lot of these like dig out portions, and she's been teaching her kids how to do that. So how to like basically cool your tatas when it's hot, and how to cool your belly is you just spread out, put your belly in the dirt, and just take a nap. And that's what she does. And actually, our solar panels that are on the ground over here, she has a couple of her food storages there. Oh, hey, there she is. She's in the tree over there. And so is one of the blue jays. All right, well, she's just making her rounds then. Silver, Silverstar's like, haha, that's so adorable. And she's like, I wonder what the whole bowl that came from would have looked like. Yeah, okay, so what I've noticed with the pottery is that the pottery that's, where'd it go? Um, the pottery that's like this. Oh, hey. Oh my gosh, the hummingbirds were buzzing over my head. They're trying to buzz the tower. I'll get you guys. I know I have to refill your other one. They always harass me. They're like, one of our feeders is empty. You need to fill it. Anyway, so when the pottery is like this was like their everyday bowls. So they were simple. They weren't ornate or anything. They may have been probably about this big for their foods and things like that. Um, but when they're painted and all of that, that was used for their ceremonies. And we actually have two areas that were considered sweat lodges. So there's one to the east and one to the west. And during the solstice, as the sun was coming up, I was in the east facing lodge, and I did a little meditation. Let's see if I can catch these hummingbirds on camera for you guys. They are zipping around. So yeah, there are some more ornate pieces of pottery. They're designed in black and white mostly, and that's the Atul or the Anasazi pottery. But the more plain looking stuff, which was, I guess, like your Tupperware pieces, pieces that they didn't mind, or the bowls they didn't mind leaving behind when they were migrating to other places. It was just like expendable, sorry, types of pottery. Hey, guy. There he is. They just kind of sit here. One's feeding right now. Let's see. There they are. John says, what direction does the male versus the uh, female Hogan face? Well, wow, they're all up in here. So the the female Hogan is the one that's usually more ornate. That's the one that has the like interlocking juniper branches for its roof, and it's in homage to Spider Woman, which is the creation of all things, that everything is interconnected. Oh, hey, there's a little hummingbird. And so it was usually a bigger lodge, and that lodge would have been mostly the east facing lodge, and all the doors were east facing. So whether it was male or female, they would have been east facing. because they always welcome in new beginnings. So for a door, they would usually make a blanket if this was the like the Navajo, the Diné, and they would hang that blanket as the doorway or for a door. And yeah, but the doors face east. Um, Male hogans are more conical in shape, so I guess they're more phallic looking. They're very simple and they're very small. So not many people can fit in them, but the female ones are meant to look like a cauldron or a pregnant belly. So it could fit a lot of people. So those were more meant for ceremony. And so the east facing lodge is actually the bigger of the two. So I feel like that was the female, and then the male was to the west. We have found remnants of a north facing lodge, and we haven't found the south facing yet. But those are more from the Atul, and that's like 2,000 years old. So, and it was mostly made from biodegradable materials. So I don't know if we're gonna really find those lodges anymore. But I do want to show you some of the things that we have found um, kind of just around this area. Let's take you guys over here. Hopefully I don't disturb anybody. Okay. So we've used some of these for the creek already, but you see these pieces, these are volcanic rock. And we did have volcanic activity in this area where basically the lava came right up to this hill and kind of pushed the hill up and made a hill. And that's why we have so much sea life here, like fossilized sea life, is because the ground kind of got pushed up when these volcanoes went off a few thousand years ago. And we have a lot of petrified wood here. We actually have a petrified forest. But the natives, they found a lot of these volcanic rock and they smoothed them out. And you notice that they have like a groove in them. And they would take, I guess, kind of like a palm stone, sort of like a massive volcanic palm stone, and they use it for grinding. So this is like for grinding up corn, for grinding up seeds. So there's a lot of these broken like grindstones everywhere, or matetes. So yeah, we kind of find those all over the property as well. And we try to keep them in one place. If I do find pottery, I don't really remove it anymore. I mean, before when we first moved here, I was like, oh my gosh, like so cool ancient pottery. And I was collecting it. But now I'm like, gosh, there's pottery everywhere. And I want people for generations to come to be able to witness this history. So if I find pottery out and about, I'll usually stick them under a tree for safekeeping because I feel like the trees are the guardians and they'll protect it. And this little tree here, he's got a lot of that lichen on it. Hey. So yeah, alrighty. Well, let's take you guys back to the cabin, and maybe we'll do a little meditation. We'll do a little reading. So if anybody wants to do super chats or super stickers, maybe we could do that. But I really appreciate you guys going on this walk with me, even though we were just at the top of the hill. But I just kind of wanted to show you some of the plants that we work with, some of the trees. Um, Kind of sad you guys didn't get to see Miss Squirrel or Sammy, but usually they only come out in the morning, not so much at night or middle of the day. I think they're sleeping. But anyway, this is the plant that I'm hardening off. This is my zucchini. So he's the only one that survived. Hello. Um, it was just a late season this season. Like everything was delayed. The seasons were delayed, so the seeds germinating were delayed. So, and then we're having like early monsoons, so everything is just off. The animals at first were like, "What is happening?" And I was like, "Oh, it's just the matrix." All right, sorry, I'm like charging my phone while I do this live chat. Okay, so let's make sure we're on here. And we're charging, and we're back. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Let's see. Angela said, he's so cute. Gosh, I miss hummingbirds, but every time we have the feeder out, we get hummingbird moths. Oh no. Well, look. luckily, we haven't had any of those. She says they make me squirmy. Angela says, "Oh, I heard about her. I read a story where she taught how to weave cords so as a child could be rescued from a well." Yes. So yeah, the branches. It's a very intricate weaving system for the ceiling of the hogan, and it's circular shape like a womb. John said, "Thank you." Angela says, "Gosh, I feel it really made me smile. I had a not so great week last week, but everything I got so sad. Something would make me smile." Yes. Silver Star said, "Thank you for all the energy you put into these lives. I really appreciate you so much and teaching me so much. You are very, very, very welcome. I'm grateful for you guys." John says he actually loves the hummingbird moths. We have, I think they're called death moths around here, where it looks like it has like a skull on its back. They're massive. I like them. I think they're cool. But those are, I think, yucca moths. So we get the yucca moths around here. And I wish I could have shown you guys some of the yucca, but it's back there, and it seems like when I go back there, I lose my internet signal, and I would want, then we'd lose our live chat. But the yucca was used, to make sandals. It was used to make baskets. Also, if you take the yucca root and the pulp and you like put it in some water and shake it up, it makes it really sudsy. It's a natural shampoo. So you can actually shampoo your hair with it. It makes it really like silky and shiny and smooth. And so that's like a treatment that the natives would use once a week to make their hairs nice and lush, as they would use a lot of yucca root. So maybe something that you guys want to look into. Um, let's see. Peg says, "Thank you. Enjoy seeing you next week. Love and hugs to you all." John says that they are rare. Ah. And she says, "Hugs and blessings, Miss Shields, with the greatest day, full of love, full of light, cake, and angel hugs to may they watch over you and everyone. Amen." Yes, yes. John says, "I get the Sphinx head moths here." Ah, that's what they're called, Sphinx head. And the yucca moths we get. Angela says, "I see them quite a bit this time of year. They get really close to me and do the hummingbird moths bite?" I don't feel that moths bite really. I think they just kind of like, they're huge and they flutter around. They kind of sound like hummingbirds. Some of these more massive moths like the yucca moths, they're like this big. They're like Mothra. And sometimes they get in the cabin. I'm like, holy shit. And then I kind of shoo them out, And just as deaths had hawk moths have a skull. Oh, the hawk moth. Oh, oh. And sometimes around here we get the tarantula wasps. Um, we call them labradorite moths because they shine like labradorite in the sun. We do have a little tarantula friend. He's known as or she, I'm not really sure. They're a blonde tarantula. They're very shy and skittish. So we saw her last night. She was kind of coming out of her hole. She's probably about, like, with her legs all spread out, probably about that big. I don't particularly like spiders, but I don't mind tarantulas. Maybe because they're furry and they most likely resemble animals to me, but but I don't mind tarantulas. I like tarantulas actually. And so I had a little chat with my little tarantula friend yesterday. But yeah, she just keeps her hole like covered in web during the day, but then at night she like comes out and she's like, "Hello." So anyway, yeah. If any of you guys would like to do super chats or super stickers, now's the time. Otherwise, let's do a guided meditation and then we'll be on our merry way. And I thank you guys for hanging out with us today and listening to our stories and our messages and our readings and going on this little nature walk. I really enjoyed kind of being able to, you know, kind of show off all the stuff here, all the beauty. To me, it is like the Summerlands or the Garden of Eden. Um, Angela said she sounds like a desert blonde. Yes. And Angela says, "I love my eight-legged friends. They like to sit on me, and I had one leave a tree to sit on my hair once." Oh, all right, John. Yay. So, John, let me know what your question is, or maybe you would just like a general reading. Angela says, "For about a half an hour, my coworker said I'm social distancing till that thing is out of your hair." Wow. we get the like sometimes the little tiny spiders, and you just see them flying on their little like they'll make a little like web string or like a little string, and you just see them flying on the wind. They're just like, oh, you see them flying by, sometimes hundreds of them, just like Charlotte's Web, where they take off with their little web string, and you're just like, um, okay, so John will take a general. Excellent. What deck to use? I want to use Wally's World. Let's do it. Okay. Wally, Wally. So just tapping into John's energy, something that he needs to know at this moment. Okay, so John, as I was tapping into your energy, I saw a tiger, actually. Not aggressive, but just, you know, the way the tiger walks, um, it can be intimidating looking because it's so in its power. It knows that it's a powerful being. It doesn't need to go out and like attack for you to know that that tiger is powerful, and that you should respect that animal. And so that's kind of what I'm getting at first, just tapping into your energy. That just by being itself and standing in its truth, that people respect it, that the energy around it respects it. All right. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Oh my gosh, I love this card too. Well, I guess I love all the cards. I mean, I did make the deck, but okay. So this image here, there is another woman in this community. Her name is Wayward Sun, and this is a community deck. So a lot of people like entered their own photos into this deck. But this is a photo she took. She says it's a place that she goes camping with her family every summer. And at the end of every summer, because there's a little bit of rain, it always produces this beautiful rainbow. And when the rainbow comes out, that's when they know it's time to go home. And so they enjoy as a family, like looking at this rainbow before they all head back to their home state of Idaho. And so I have photoshopped Wally. He's right there. He's actually just basking in the vibes of the rainbow and the just the smell of the rain, you know, and the wetness of the grass, and just everything is so fertile and so ready for life. So let's tap into this one. By the way, this is card number 61, which translates to the number 7. And in Mayan numerology, the number 7 is about death and rebirth. So it's just like the death card in tarot. So I feel like you are on that precipice, just like I was talking about in the general reading, of being ready for something new. You're ready, like the snake, to shed its skin. And I'm glad you guys got to see that snake skin out there hanging off the tree. Um, let's see. John says they're a theme this week. All right, so let's tap into this. Okay, so your higher self was showing like the juxtaposition between the two energies, like the energy of the tiger that I saw, which can be seen as a very um, ferocious masculine energy, but actually in the state that I was seeing it was a very balanced masculine and feminine energy. And I know that you said that you were working with the divine feminine. You did like a whole ritual with Kali and everything, and that's beautiful. And it feels like that's confirmation of the balancing, healing energy that you've been doing. Where if that tiger were in more of an actionable state, like, you know, if I saw it more that way, where it was on the attack, it's on the offense, let's say, that would be a very outward masculine energy. And that's one way to command respect and attention, but sometimes to the extreme could take the form, instead of respect, it turns into the form of fear. But however, it being in this state where it knows its true power, it can defend itself if it wanted to. It could be on the defense or the offense if it wanted to, but it knows that just by being itself, just by being in its truth, it will neither have to be offensive or defensive. That it knows that what it attracts, it has the power to attract. So if it wanted to attract a enemy, so to speak, that it would have to go on the defense with, that all of that was within the tiger's making. The tiger created this enemy of sorts so that it would have to be defensive. Or let's say if the tiger were in a fear state, it would have to go on the offensive. Either way, it's sort of a fear type energy bringing it in. But this tiger is well balanced. And oftentimes, when we think of cats, cats are a beautiful balance. They're known for their balance. So, this is a beautiful balance between that masculine and feminine. I'm neither offensive nor defensive. I just am. And in that I just am and I am just present, I create the reality that I want to. And it seemed a very peaceful reality. And in that peaceful reality, we also see this rainbow here. And so, this also being a beautiful balance between masculine and feminine. Now, we may see rainbows as being a very feminine type energy where it's like, oh, it's got all these colors and it's beautiful. But think about what happened in order to create this beautiful, simple, quiet, peaceful rainbow. There had to be some rain, but there was a lot of things that had to happen before the clouds turned dark, before precipitation happened, before the rain came down, which is a very actionable type thing, that the clouds had to take action by releasing. The release creates rain. Right now, you are in a releasing state, so I'm letting go. In that letting go, it was able to nourish everything around it, hence all this beautiful pasture here. So, this is also a balance between the masculine and the feminine. So, your higher self is just letting you know that you are doing like exactly what you're meant to be doing right now, and you are getting yourself into a beautiful balance. And if you haven't already noticed that everything around you is benefiting from that balanced work that you've been doing, because the whether it's animals or people or trees or weather, energy, whatever it may be, is all acting or reacting based on your energy. And so if you are neither defensive or offensive, and you just are, and you understand that I am creating this reality, then everything else around it feels nourished in its own power. It no longer has to worry about your offensive or your defensive state. They get to worry about their own personal power. So you are showing everyone and everything around you how to be balanced by being balanced yourself. I hope that all makes sense. So, all right. Well, thank you, John, for letting me pull a card for you. Wonderful message for us all, I think. Angelus is avoiding full-on killing fights. And John said, Popeye, or Popeye, I am what I am. That's all that I am. Angela was saying, it's okay to be soft and strong. It's not weak to have teddy bear vibes. Be how you feel. You don't have to hold in emotions. You don't have to hide. Amen. Fun facts, tigers are strategic in battle and will go for the other tiger's feet or their tails or hind end just enough to cause them discomfort and make them back off and lick their wounds instead of full-on killing fights. Ah, interesting. And then, you guys were talking about the orb weavers. They're friendly, not dangerous. If they bite, it'll just itch. They can fly when the wind is right or when they're small. Yeah, the little tiny spiders on their little webs. I think they're cute. And they've never bothered me at all. Oh, all right, Lily. Do a reading for her as well. John said, big sigh of relief. Thank you. And thanks, Angela. You are very, very welcome. Like I said, whenever we do readings, I think it's so good for all of us as well. And Angela said female tigers will also take extra care of weaker cubs. Most dominant tigers were once the smallest, weakest of their litter. Wow. And Heather says the ones you see the most is Bengals. Kind of cool. They came out there from India. Actually, that was the type of tiger I was seeing. It was a Bengal tiger. So, John, take that message as you will. All right. So, Lily, let us know if you have a particular question in mind or if you would like a general message as well. And I have a sip of wawa. All righty. Bengal tigers are so beautiful. Well, all tigers, all big kitties and small kitties, and all the medium-sized kitties in between, like mountain lions and bobcats. I mean, I am kittens, weights, and tarot. I do like cats. John said, Bengal, I'm wearing a tiger eye bracelet. Dude. Oh, that reminds me. I made a bracelet. It was a custom order, but I used my intuition to make it. And then the person ended up not wanting the bracelet. But I have it in, it's not in Desert Cauldron, but I showed it on our Desert Cauldron Instagram. And I've been wearing that bracelet. I love it. Like, I was like, dude. But it has tiger's eye, it has blue tiger's eye, and it has eagle eye, which is also a type of feldspar. So it also has that shine because it technically is a type of tiger's eye, but it's gray. And so I made it with those. I made it with turquoise and, well, New Mexican turquoise and rose quartz. So there's a rose quartz bead, but it was meant for like grounding, but also being in the heart space while also connecting to get clear downloads. But I found that bracelet to be a wonderful balance between masculine and feminine, kind of like all that cat energy, basically. So when you said tiger's eye, it reminded me of the bracelet I made. So, but yeah, very cool. Angela was like synchronicity. And John said, beautiful. I have to check it out. Yeah. All right. So, let's go back. So yeah, Lily, let me know if you have a particular question in mind. Angela says, I've been drawn to do shifting meditations lately. Ah, very good. I'm thinking about our meditation for later. I mean, after we do our super chats. Maybe we will do one that's more balanced. But you know what? That's just my ego talking. Maybe I'll just let the forest decide what our guided meditation is going to be. And I'll just give these a nice shuffle until we hear from our friend. By the way, let's see what we had on the bottom of this deck. Hold on. I won't look at it. I'll let you guys see it first. Bada boom. Oh, hey. Out in Roma, it's the Basilica. Wow. That was a beautiful experience. I don't consider myself like religious and like a group religion sense, but like to be in the Vatican and just like the energy in the Vatican and to like go through the Basilica, the Vaticina, and like all that artwork, all that like artistry. It was incredible. And yeah. So hey, I was just thought I'd show you guys the bottom of the deck there. But very cool, very cool. Okay. Just taking a look. See. Oh, Silver Star says, I love Wally's World deck. Susie bought it for me. I use it for just me. It's special. Aw, I'm glad you guys are liking this deck. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's so special to me. So, yeah, I'm very grateful when people get a lot of like good messages and a lot of healing out of it. That was like the purpose of it. I mean, that's what the box says. It's a healing journey is a journey home. So, all right. Lily says, surprise me. Okay. So let's tap into Lily's energy. Let's see what we have here. Okay, Lily, I was tapping into your energy and I saw a woman like sipping like a milkshake in the hot summer sun, and I'm listening to Cruel Summer, but it's the Ace of Base version. So it's a cruel summer, and you're gone. You're not the only one. It's a cruel summer. Now you're gone. They also played that song in the movie Blue Crush. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I used to watch surfing movies all the time because I used to surf. So, but that's funny. Is like it's all this like summer stuff. Like you got your little summer milkshake and you're just like sipping on it, and this music is playing in the background. It's Cruel Summer. But let's see what's in that one. Oh yeah, it was in Karate Kid as well. That's right. I love me some Karate Kid. I'm going to have that stuck in my head all day. Thanks for the spiritual earworm. All right, so let's pull a card. What does this mean? How's it connected? What's Lily's message? Oh, hey, it's the full moon. I took this picture, by the way, and we are still in the vibes of that Capricorn full moon that we just had on the solstice. So even though the moon might technically not be at 100% fullness anymore, we are still feeling the vibes. So yeah, we'll definitely tap into this one. Angela also had a message. She says, Summer of joy and serenity. Don't let anyone send you where you don't want to be. You are in control of your wants and needs. They matter. Take care of yourself. The world can wait for you. Amen. And John said he got a flag of pink, soft pink, if that means anything. Beautiful messages. All right, for Lily. So let's tap into Lily's card here, this full moon that we had in Capricorn. Capricorn also connected with the Devil's card. And the Devil card sometimes reminds us about when we hold on to things too strongly, so thereby reminding us to release. And also, Capricorn was connected to the Greek deity Pan. Sometimes I say Pan, but that just means bread in Spanish. But Pan was probably his name. Pan was the like trickster, but also the uh, fun guy, you know, the forest, always playing his music, drinking his wine, kind of like Dionysus. You know, Dionysus always crushing that wine and those grapes. It's all about joy and celebration, is sometimes what the devil card or Pan could also mean. Um, but that's kind of the vibes I'm getting with this moon card, is that sometimes the ego might feel like if we've been in a state of relaxation or what appears to be inactivity for too long, it starts to get a little anxious. It starts to be like, things need to move a little faster. Why isn't this happening right now? But remember the group reading that we had, where patience is the key for this week, because the thing that you have been waiting for, that's life changing for each of us, it looks different, but life changing for you, is going to come. But the patience and being present is going to afford you all the opportunities and all the things that you need to know so that you can be ready for that thing when it happens. And so Capricorn and the full moon are just reminding you to go into that divine feminine energy. Definitely continue to listen to your intuition over the ego and have a little bit of fun. You know, right now you are in this state in your life where you're allowed to experiment, you're allowed to try new things, you're allowed to just have fun. And although the ego's like, yeah, well, I gotta make money and I gotta do this and I gotta do that, from a soul sense, you're going to manifest whatever you want, and you don't need money to do it. that's the ego's way of doing things, because that's how we're programmed in the matrix, that money is the only way to get what we want, or that, you know, it's got to come in this way. And I know that this is like a broken record for all of us, but the things, that life-changing thing is coming. The things that you need will come in due time. But this is lily time right now. This is, I'm going to go have a party in the forest if I feel like it. If today I want to go do cartwheels down the sidewalk and see where that takes me and what I learned from that, I'm going to go do it. So you have the opportunity to go back and do what a lot of us would like to do sometimes, and that's go back to our teenage self. Remember when we were teenagers and a lot of us weren't quite working yet, we weren't in the job force yet. All we had to really worry about was the drama with our friends, what was going on with mom and dad, you know, what was happening, you know, with our favorite like musical artists. You know, we had our crushes. We weren't afraid to try figuring out who we were at that time. You know, it was a time of self-discovery. We got into fights with friends. We made new friends. We lost friends. We had crushes. We lost those crushes. We got crushes on different people. Sometimes we crushed on our teachers. You know, we were just trying to figure out where we were. And that's where you have that opportunity. You get to be basically 15 or 16 years old all over again. You're in that state where you have that opportunity. So be 15 or 16, go make mistakes. It's fun to make mistakes. It's fun to try new things. Sometimes we'll get into fights with our friends. Sometimes we'll lose our friends, but that just means we're going to make new friends because we're finding out who we really are. And you're in that state right now where you are changing. You're not Lily of last year or the year before. You're coming into your own again. And so embrace it. Embrace Pan's energy. Embrace that Capricorn energy. Um, let's see what she had to say. Uh, Lily said, I was just sipping coffee in the park. Oh my gosh. And she says, I'm a Capricorn sun. Oh, that's right. You are. I totally forgot. December. December's your birthday, right? Wow. Dude, I love the synchronicity. Silver Star says, I pulled the Rose Oracle for all of us. Was the sun, joy, enjoyment, life force, success, vitality, and play. How fitting. And just then, the raven went by, another raven too. Actually, that's the husband and wife ravens, doing the little call, reminding you to have fun. This is about fun. This is not about stress or what's gonna happen in the future. Or, you know, sometimes the stress that older adults, myself, when I was a teacher, I inadvertently put stress on my 18-year-old students, you know, my seniors. And it was like, got to figure out what you want to do with the rest of your life. And sometimes there's a bit of that too. And so maybe you're feeling some of that of like, I got to figure out what I want to do right now. It's like the clock is ticking. Like I got to figure it out right now. But the clock isn't ticking. The clock is, it's an illusion. You just be a teenager again. Enjoy being a teenager again. And eventually you'll be where you got to go. So, yay. Thank you guys for allowing me to pull cards for you. Let's, and you guys had some beautiful messages, by the way. Angela had some great messages, and Silver Star, John as well. Angela said, Oma Vonda used to tell me learning to truly sit and be still with no agenda is very hard, but it's so worth learning. Beautiful. And Silver Star says, I'm a Capricorn moon. Okay. Well, Angela's sharing the message. I will get you guys all into that nature take over and guide me in this meditation. So I will just channel nature. All right. Go ahead and get yourselves into a comfortable space. You could be lying down, sitting in a chair, perhaps lying in the grass or sitting under a tree. And I want you to bring your awareness to your breath. Just feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest. In and out. And as I tap into the beautiful energy of Mama Gaia, which we are as well. We are part of her. We are her. We are the animals. We are the soil. We are the trees. We are the rocks. We are the wind. We are the fire, the water, the earth. We are the stranger. We are the familiar. We are family. We are our friends. We are our enemies as well as our hero. We are all. Gaia is just wanting to bring us into the present with this meditation. So as you continue breathing, I want you to place your right hand over your heart, and I want you to place your left hand on the ground, wherever that may be. Whether you're sitting in your home or you're sitting outside, place your hand on the ground, your left hand. This is your receptive hand, your divine feminine. Your masculine hand, the hand of action, is placed gently over your heart space. Continue breathing. And as you think about your breath, think about what it does. That as you inhale, you feel exhilaration, rejuvenation, that it fills every cell in your body. You feel it not only within your belly and in your lungs, but you feel it in your hair, in your eyes, in your teeth, in your hands. And that when you exhale, what a relief. Like a weight has been released. We always feel more calm and relaxed. Continue breathing. And that it's a beautiful push and pull. It's a beautiful give and take, in and out. Just like all the other systems in our body, eyes closed, eyes open. The left ventricle and the right ventricle of the heart, oxygenated blood and non-oxygenated blood, everything moving in beautiful balance, different yet the same. And so as you sit with one hand over your heart and one hand on the ground, I want you to truly feel the energy coming through your left palm, truly feeling this present moment. What is coming through that palm? Perhaps it begins to tingle. Perhaps it begins to itch. Perhaps what's coming through your hand comes in the form of images or sounds. Perhaps it's a taste on the tongue or a gentle scent that reminds you of something. Whatever it may be, just allow it to pass on through. And as you continue in this receptive state, we see all that we are feeling through this hand, and it's being directed directly into our heart space with our masculine, our right hand. And as you feel these sensations, the taste on your tongue, the scent on your nostrils, the feel, the sound, let the heart translate it with the masculine. What does the heart tell you? What is the heart saying is the translated message from what you feel or what you see or what you hear? And sit with that. And as you receive the message, with the exhale of your breath, allow it to flow right back through that left palm back down into the earth. So that just like your breath in and out, or the left ventricle and the right ventricle of the heart, oxygenation, non-oxygenation, You are a beautiful flow in this present, receiving message, translating that message, and releasing that message back into the earth to be transmuted. Continue breathing. And when you feel ready, I want you to switch hands. Place your left hand over your heart and your right hand on the ground. And now, feel into the messages of your heart. Does it tingle on your palm? Does it itch? Does it sound like something or taste like something? Allow that message to move forth from your heart, through the palm of your hand, through your beautiful body, down into the earth, through your masculine energy, your right hand. Allow your love, your messages, and your guidance be the prophet for Mama Gaia, just as she was the prophet for you. But remembering that she is you. You are your own prophet, your own guidance system. You offer as much wisdom to this world as this world can offer you. And so allow that energy to flow through that right hand back down into the earth, for the earth to translate that message as need be. Continue breathing. And when you're ready, place both hands over your heart. Breathe into these hands. Breathe in to the messages that were received and released. And bring your awareness back into your body. When you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can have a nice big stretch and open your eyes. All right, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that guided meditation. I thank nature, Gaia, to help us out with that channeled meditation. Thank you to everybody who joined us in the live chat today. I know that we all have busy, busy schedules, but I thank you so much for taking the time out to come hang out with us, to offer us messages, to do this meditation. For everybody who allowed me to do readings for them, thank you. Thank you to everybody who joined us on the nature walk and offered your love, your wisdom, your healing. For James, for everybody else who was needing some extra healing, for Mama Squirrel, for just imparting your knowledge, all the messages you shared during the weekly reading. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Silverstar is wishing everybody a beautiful day. John says thank you. Angela says always love Mama Gaia and her meditations, and sending her and everyone so much love. So I love you guys. Thank you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Mwah. Peace out. Bye, guys.